America is going to be the ghetto because of Donald John Trump. And I liken the election in 2024 to that scene in Sinners where those people were in the juke joint. And you know what the rule is when you're in a juke joint. Don't let the vampires in. And these motherfuckers let the vampires in. Oh yeah, you know who China is in Sinners? The indigenous people. They said, we told you that there were some vampires over there, and we said they was dancing an Irish jig. If you don't want to hear it, we're out. They're waiting for everything to take place in the juke joint and just waiting to clean up the pieces. China, we are entering the great China century. China will win the Game of Thrones.
154, we all connected, baby, you already know. I'm talking 154. We bringing Africa around the whole globe. Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like Ain't no place like
Welcome to another episode of 154. Today's guest made history as the first Black woman to host a primetime show on cable news. She built a career on having the ability to break down complex issues and make them clear, digestible, and accessible for everyone watching. You know her as a primetime trailblazer, famed political commentator, and brilliant television host. But she's the daughter of immigrants from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Guyana. She's a proud Harvard alum, a New York Times best-selling author, an NAACP Image Award winner, a media icon, a professor, and a documentary filmmaker. A voice that has become essential in the national political conversation and helping millions make sense of the moment we're living in. Please welcome to 154, a happy warrior, ladies and gentlemen, Joy Reid.
Let's go, Joy! Let's go, Joy! I love that. Congolese and Guyana.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah. A strange combination.
That is, before we get into that, we want to have a little West African. We tried hard to get some very cultural Congolese food. We weren't able to do it. We actually are doing this right here in Washington, D.C. So we said, you know what? Let's introduce you to some Nigerian food. So we have chin-chin here, which is kind of like a little donut, fried donut. And we have some palm wine, and we have a little toast.
Well, I'm definitely going to go for that.
Okay, so we got a little palm wine. Don't be alarmed by the color.
Okay.
All right, there we go. There we go.
You're going to catch up on you. Be careful.
It doesn't taste good.
May not hit you
It
down.
ain't juice. It ain't apple juice. It ain't apple juice. It ain't apple juice. Watch out now. Watch out. It's going to hit you.
Here we go. All right.
You don't know when.
You don't know when, but it's going on a good foot.
Here's a great conversation.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Is that your first time?
That's my first time having it.
Okay.
It's trippy.
Absolutely. My parents were divorced. I didn't
That's really good. Now be careful. My very first episode, I grew up around it, but I never had it. Very, very sneaky. It's so cool to have you here on 154. I guess we want to start with just kind of your upbringing, but really your Congolese background and just, when and how that was a part of your culture growing up.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. It is really great to be here.
It's a pleasure. We've been looking forward to this.
Well, perfect. I love it. And I grew up around the Nigerians, so I'm used to y'all. We live
we the Nike of Africans?
You know that,
Nike
right?
of Africa.
Just do it.
We are the Nike of Africa. Everybody else is like Adidas, Ethiopian Adidas, and then you might be Reebok.
Right.
But we are the Nike of Africa.
Don't forget about Fila.
There's Fila. That would be, what other African? Maybe Zimbabwe or something like that.
Guyana, maybe the Fila of Caribbean people, because they try to put us out of the Caribbean. But Guyanese people are Caribbean people. But so I grew up in Denver, Colorado. You can relate being from the Midwest. I don't know how Africans find their way to the Midwest somehow. They end up finding their way not to maybe.
So it's usually it's an academic thing. They may get, because I know my pops got a teaching scholarship for education in Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's why I was born in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And so he was teaching, education. It was going to be London, but something had happened because my father said, I wanted to study medicine but my father's brothers, my Uncle Steve, studied podiatry, and he was Jesse Jackson's podiatrist in Chicago.
Wow.
Rest in peace. Yeah. So my father was going to go to London. He had an uncle that was sponsoring him to go to London to study medicine, but something happened, auto accidents, and everything changed. My father had to change his whole his career, his you know, vocation,
Yeah.
and he ended up in Nebraska. That's how I was born there. Sister born in Nigeria, and then but it's a survival.
It's a survival, and it's an education thing.
Usually
right?
an academic thing.
I think so, because my parents met in Iowa. My sister was born in Iowa. My sister's the
that
oldest,
makes
so
so
it's
much
like,
sense.
what we doing in the
Iowa.
Midwest? So it's, you know, these Africans like sort of independently going to these places. I just think that the governments down there, after they got liberated from their, you know, their European oppressors, they just
set
said,
'em up.
go and get an education. We're going to just throw a dot at the United States. Iowa, that's a short, safe, it's easy, it's cheap. Go over there.
It sounds Africa.
It sounds like Iowa. Go there. Get your education. Yeah.
How do you even do that for like a Nebraska or for like South Dakota or something?
Nebraska.
Go there.
Yeah. Starts with an N like Nigeria. Yes.
Yes.
Saying.
So they ended up somehow meeting in Iowa, but I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
All right.
So we then moved to Denver, Colorado. So we moved to Denver, and everybody else in Denver, Colorado is either white or black. And I mean that very specifically. They're just either white folks or they're African American. There's just there's no Puerto Rican or Mexican. Not like Puerto Rican, not like
that's very Midwest and
Very
those
Midwest.
places. It's like, I call it like, because New York is like 64 colors of Crayola.
Exactly.
Ours is like the 8-pack of crayons.
8-pack.
Remember, you had red,
more
the
basic.
basic colors.
That's it.
That's the 8-pack.
Just the basics. So there was 4 families there that we were the only Caribbean people. So we were literally the only Caribbean people, except for when my cousins would come every summer. We were like a little gang. And so we'd have all the little Guyanese cousins in the summer. But other than that, it was the Chirungas, the Okekes, the Lomenas, and the Akias, the 4 Nigerian families. And of course, we knew them all.
Right.
They were all very good academically, right? They all had very good grades
That's right.
and everything. And that's it. They were just 4. And so we grew up in this very strange context where I was born here. So the Guyanese family are like, you're American. So we grew up very African American because my mom was like, you know, I'm Guyanese.
Yeah.
Right.
You, on the other hand, are American, right?
Right,
So we
no
grew up
doubt.
like very African American, but in this context where we were foreign. Our food was different. We were eating, you know,
what
curry
did
and
you eat?
roti.
Yeah.
So I grew up eating Guyanese food. We grew up eating curry and roti, you know, eating like pepper pot. Nobody knew what that was but us, you know. And I just remember this experience when we switched, when my mom got a promotion. We were on the low sort of working class side of Montbello at first. And then my mom and that's where like the white people were, because it was a white flight town. It used to be white, black people moved in, the white people moved out.
They jet,
Right? But the white people who were more working class didn't leave. So when we first moved in, there were more white people on that side.
Yeah.
Then my mom got a promotion. We moved to the other side, which was very black. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, military veterans. That side is where like the black people, sort of the black elite lived.
Right.
And so we lived on that side. So when we moved, I had to change schools. So my first day at McGloin Elementary School in the 5th grade, everybody went around, introduced themselves, and they said, tell us your favorite food. My dumb ass said, curry and roti. Room went silent. Everybody looked at me like, what? We all said, you know, fried chicken. We said steak. We said,
Spaghetti.
What the hell is curry
Yeah.
and roti? And I was like in the spotlight, and also was already a nerd with the big Coke bottle glasses. Not a great day for Joy and Lomena. So no.
Oh, wow. Give us your full name. What is your full, do you have like your African name?
My full name is Joy Ann Marie Lomena. But I never can pronounce it. I have an African name too, but my father was like an absentee father, so I don't like him. So we didn't try to use it. It's like Beyond Como or something like that. Like he had it and he created it, but my parents also had a dispute, and I don't think they were married when they got together. So I also was Joy Ann Veronica Carroll. It depends on which you're looking at, my birth certificate or my name, my official name.
Mother skunt.
Yeah.
Mother skunt.
Yeah, Mother Skunt.
Mother skunt. That's a curse in Guyana.
Yes, it is.
I always
Mother
see this
Skunt.
as-
And you're the only person who probably knows, except my cousins, who are listening to this going, Mother Skunt.
Mother
I have no-
skunt. It's like bomba cloud.
It's
Really
really
a skunk for Guyanese.
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm glad you told me that, because now I know not to say it.
Don't say it in front of like old church people, because you get slapped. They will hit you.
So did you ever, like, so you talked about your father. What was that, when did your mom kind of explain like that entire situation and what your relationship was like with your father? And then when did you start getting introduced to like the Congolese side?
So remember when I said my mother was Caribbean, meaning she never did explain that. Yeah, they don't. My mom passed when I was 17, but they don't talk to their kids. Like one of the things about Caribbean culture, right? You're not sharing a lot of information.
Same
They just don't-
Yeah.
They don't really tell you things.
They don't tell you their age. I don't know how to ask
My mother was 10 years older than we thought. When she passed, we thought she was 47. That lady was 57 years old. We had no idea because she wholly lied
At
about
my
her
father's
age.
funeral, they were like this. we don't know his age. we don't know. No one knows how. Because I would ask, when you're little, you didn't know, but how old are you? Because they would be like, my dad's this. I said, and my father said, I'm 100. Tell them. And we would go, my father's 100. They'd be like, your father's 100. He said, tell your folks. I'm 100.
And all of a sudden,
I'm
run
100.
off of that.
My father be with his stupid. I'm 100. Go tell them. 100.
That's it.
I wonder what that generation went through that they didn't speak and tell their story and what they went through, because it's kind of like a silent generation, because we talk about it all the time, and we've had so many other guests who've had the same type of connection to where there's a lot of missing history between, because you said Caribbean, but then, your father's not from the Caribbean and your mom is not from the Caribbean.
Well, no, the Guyanese people are from the Caribbean.
Oh,
You were trying to kick us out. No, Guyanese people are Caribbean.
Okay, so
We're
it's considered,
West Indian people.
so West Indies.
still West
Okay,
Indian.
West Indies. Okay. All right. So when you look at that and you go, man, like, were there questions that you had about your father that you just settled
100%.
that
And
you would
he
never
was
know?
a phone father. He would call us like once a year, from his satellite phone. And so we would talk to him, and I was the negotiator in the family. I'm the middle child. And my sister refused to speak to him. My brother would just cry because he needed a dad and he wasn't there. So I was the person, the designated negotiator with the dad. So we would talk, but we would mostly talk about politics. Most of his career, he worked in South Africa. So he's in apartheid South Africa. Oh, wow. And I was very curious how he was surviving, but he was like, I am not the African. So he's like, I can get away with things. And he was getting away with like being kind of a free black in South Africa, which was weird. Yeah. And his best friend and lives in South Africa to this day. And so he was having this experience. He worked in the mining industry. So we would talk about that. Not really about personal things, because we didn't have a personal relationship like that. And as far as like my parents, I don't know how they met. I have no idea how they ended up in Iowa. I've been now doing that research on my own to try to put the pieces together of their lives, because neither of them talked about their lives at all.
Wow. So it seems like maybe that conversation maybe sparked your interest maybe early on into where you kind of where you are today and kind of how you ended up. Because that's interesting, you being a young person and talking about apartheid and politics.
Wow.
I was so excited.
Maybe you got that drive from your father.
Or my mom. My mother was very political. So my parents, my father was very conservative. He was a big time Reaganite. I mean, although he was the first person to call me when Barack Obama won, he was so proud, crying as an African. He was just so proud of Obama. But all our lives, he was Reaganite, right wing. And my mother was a Carter person. And she got her citizenship in time to vote for Carter in '76. So we were Carter people because we sided with my mom. So my mother was she would take us to vote with her when she finally got a chance to vote, and was very into politics. And she let me sit up and watch the news because I was a news junkie, and so was she. So the first time I really sort of got interested in news, she and I sat up and watched the first night of the Iran hostage crisis.
Wow.
And
Day
I got
number
obsessed.
59.
Yes, and I watched it every night.
I'm Ted Koppel.
Yes.
Ted Koppel.
As you can see here, day number 757.
Why was it always with the head turn with Ted Koppel?
But that was news reporting.
That was news reporting.
Dan Rather, John Chancellor, Bill Curtis. Tonight, right? My father watched Face the Nation, David Brinkley. David Brinkley.
Yes.
Tonight,
60 Minutes?
What?
Every week. Every
Bradley,
Sunday.
Sat down with my
Harry
father.
Reasoner.
Yes.
Ed Bradley, Harry Reasoner.
yes.
Maury Safer.
Yes.
That's the original crew. Maury Safer.
And the guy at the end who would complain.
Oh, Andy Rooney. Yeah.
Oh, Andy Rooney.
Don't you hate sometimes when you get these people,
Andy Rooney.
and he's in his
In his
little,
little-
he's in their little room
with all the books.
You know what I hate? These people that come around and try to tell you what to do.
Rooney.
I'm Andy
Classic.
Rooney.
It was classic.
It was
So funny.
fire.
I don't know if you ever went through the phase of like, I hated my, oh man, I would hear the tick, 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 tick. And my dad would call me and watch news.
60 was dope.
And I'll sit there.
I loved it.
60
I went
Minutes
from
was
hating
fire,
it to
though.
loving it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I record it now. You know what I mean? I try to get my kids to watch it, but they won't watch it. But,
Yeah, it's going downhill.
It's not. That's not 60 minutes. That's corny. That clock ain't the real.
It ain't the
Where
real
was
clock.
Ed Bradley?
Ed Bradley.
Maury Safer, Mike Wallace.
Yes.
It was like, welcome to 60 Minutes. And you're like,
You
ooh.
knew.
And it was a
Right.
cool
This is-
interview.
Lean
It was a
in.
dope interview. It was almost like, it reminded me of Brian Gumbel's HBO Sports, which was phenomenal. It had little
Yes.
it's like different people were interviewing different people, different segments. It was just done a little differently.
Yeah.
It wasn't like local news.
No.
It was a little cooler.
Or even like the Today Show. The first time I actually saw the Congo, it was because Bryant Gumbel went there. Brian Gumbel goes to the Congo, and it was almost like Anthony Bourdain before Anthony Bourdain, which is also my favorite show ever. And he went to the Congo, and I was late to school every morning because he was there for a week. And I'm like, I'm finally seeing the Congo through Brian Gumbel, because the Today Show was like hard news, right? Back then. They were serious about it. And so it was like back then, like news was entertainment to me. All I cared about was news and sports. I was a very tomboyish kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just news and sports. That's me. That's what I want to watch.
That is
And my
so
mom
cool.
was into it too. So it was our bond.
Wow. So your mom kind of got you into that. You're watching that. You're having this type of conversation with your pops. At what point did you know, like, this is me? Did you know from a very young age that this was going to be your future?
No, because again, being a Caribbean person, I made the mistake at about 12 years old saying, I'm going to be a doctor. My sister said, I'm going to be a lawyer. And my baby brother, who was like a literal child, he's like 5 years younger than me, was like, I'm going to be an architect. So we were doctor, lawyer, architect.
There
it
it
didn't
is.
matter what else we said.
There it is.
That's what it
Everybody's
was.
just gonna-
You didn't have a choice at that point.
Yeah. So you're seeing Congo on TV. Like, did you ever get a chance to go to the Congo?
I've never been, because my father said, so we come from the Lomena Panga. It's apparently a quite important family. His father was a chief. And he didn't adopt the chief, moniker for himself because he said it was too much work. So he let his cousin do it. So he said, if you come here, you're going to be kidnapped. So he said, you probably need to, he said it wasn't really safe to come. So I never did go. And then he passed away. We didn't have enough of a relationship for me to really, go to see him. Because, I never got close to him like as a dad. So I've never been. I would love to go.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to go?
I want to go. It's interesting. I had this amazing conversation with Dikembe Mutombo when he was
Dikembe,
alive.
rest in
And he was
peace.
like, I will take you to the Congo. And that was my plan, was to go with him, to try to plan a trip with him. And of course,
You still got to
unfortunately,
find
he
a
passed.
way, because I mean, Congo has been ignored.
Yes.
Even though they're still doing what they're doing since King Leopold.
Yes.
And his horrible stuff. I mean, the Congolese history is so bad. People talk about their costs.
Yeah.
But this one is one of the worst, and it's still happening. With I was watching footage of these miners in Congo. They were pulling each other out of the dirt
Recently.
like laughing, like, oh, come on out.
Yeah.
And getting paid nothing.
Nothing.
And I'm like, no one's talking about it. Sudan, Congo, and everyone's talking about the other places.
Right.
But not because
there.
anti-blackness is just
It's so
everywhere.
real.
Yeah.
We
And
don't count. We just don't
We don't
count.
count. And the reality is, if there is a real Wakanda, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. It has
doubt.
every mineral
Everything.
that you need to make iPhones, your cell
Cobalt.
phone,
The cobalt,
It has
gold,
every mineral,
silver,
gold,
copper.
everything.
Yeah.
It has every mineral in the greatest abundance on the entire planet. It should be the richest nation on earth. And instead, it's just completely exploited because of Europe and the West. And these companies like Apple and all of these oligarchs around the world, they just view it as a place to plunder, like they've always viewed the continent. The continent is just a place to plunder. They don't respect the people there, the governments there. That's why I respect the governments like Mali and Burkina Faso, the ones who are telling them to f off. Like, that's what I need
love
Africa
it.
to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. You think that would spread? I mean, because we get right into it, because I think that's something that you're starting to see. It doesn't get a lot of, love and spin on the, on the American air. You're seeing a little bit of it kind of on social media, but it still doesn't get a lot of play.
Yeah.
You think that would spread throughout all of Africa?
I wish it would, but the legend of Libya, that Muammar Gaddafi tried to create that one single
African-
gold
yes,
coin,
yes.
and you look what happened to him. The West doesn't take too kindly to the global South trying to be independent of it. And the idea of a currency on the continent is actually one of the most controversial ideas in the planet, because it would challenge the dollar. And the petrodollar is what keeps the US economy alive. So to me, even when I was at the artist formerly known as MSNBC, I was like obsessively trying to cover BRICS. Americans don't really get international news. Like, they don't really.
Not at all.
And they're not interested
at
in it,
all.
right?
Well, they make it American-centric.
You're
Yes.
right. Everything, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but then when you go
To keep us
overseas,
misinformed.
you're like, wait a minute,
What's
international news. I'm like, what's going on here?
on.
This is.
I would challenge anybody to have, I have a good group of friends, West Coast, East Coast, and then in the UK, and then some that are on the continent. And when you look at my WhatsApp, it is totally different from, and so you started getting this information from what you're seeing here in the States, and you realize like we're being hoodwinked because we're only getting a piece of or an angle of when you're doing, the news and when you're talking about that and when you're trying to fight for something like that. What was the biggest block? What was the biggest hurdle when you're dealing with big news like an MSNBC or some of these big news outlets?
It was partly that, at least at MSNBC, it's not like CNN that has bureaus everywhere, right? So a lot of it was the limitations of where NBC has a bureau where we could actually get a correspondent. And some of it, when we were talking about Gaza, it's the limitations Israel put on, the ability to cover. They do not allow independent journalism to come out of Gaza or barely the West Bank. They very much limit what comes out. Right. And then the third piece is the audience. We would see, I'm a numbers girl, so you would watch the numbers. You're talking about Trump, everybody's rocking with you. The minute you say, let's talk about the global South, people are like, man, bye, let me go turn to CNN and see if they talk about Trump. And so there is this thing where audiences really don't take an interest in international news, but we were dogged about it. We were literally like, the way we would build our show is that we would commit to doing international news regardless. And we would anchor it because we had such a strong audience base. Because our strong audience base was there, we could actually afford to shave a little bit off when it came to trying to do things like cover BRICS, cover the global South, cover Gaza. But you definitely could see that other than Ukraine, which was like the exception to the rule where Americans got very obsessed with Ukraine for a while. Americans generally don't seem to that interested, but we're not trained to be interested. Like the American media doesn't
They
help
don't
us
even
do
know, if you look at geography, Americans don't know where the hell they're at.
Right.
I remember being on a plane one time, I was like, it's this lady who was, I'm from Wisconsin. Where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to Calgary. Where's that? It's in the same continent, North America. Dumb. Everything.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't believe she goes, wait, that can? I said, it's right above you. It's upstairs, pretty much. Geography, we don't know what borders anything. But the way they taught us, it's like languages. You go overseas, everyone 2-3 languages with ease.
Yeah.
With us, we're like, I took Spanish 101, but I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot, right.
And it's the way we're taught. I think, and it's purposely done. We don't have financial literacy.
That's right.
They keep us in, because they purposely have done this to keep us, limited.
I call it the TaskRabbit, method. You just keep everybody, you know just a little bit. You have just a little bit, and if I can keep you in that TaskRabbit circle, you're just doing. I'm bouncing.
Teach you just enough to make you a good worker.
There you go.
That's it.
There
a
you
good,
go.
loyal, quiet worker that won't complain.
Right.
Yeah.
And whenever I go overseas and I look, I've been 41 countries, and I'm always amazed at how much the international knows about America. About us more than we know about ourselves.
100%.
And so it is interesting to see that and just think, man, like there isn't enough fighting back to go, wait, we want more and demand more.
Yeah.
Because the miseducation, I think, keeps a lot of the fighting, the misunderstanding.
Sure.
And when covering the news, like part of me, like I said, growing up, like I pretty much just watch one type of news. And then as I started to get older, I started realizing, wait, this is all partisan, right? You turn one channel, it's this. You turn another channel, and you're not getting the full picture. How do you present the full picture, even when you're working on a network that might be partisan to one side?
Well, I mean, it's partisan now. I think the thing about what's changed is that we don't have the monoculture, right? So when we were growing up, you just picked your flavor of white man. You either like Dan Rather,
No doubt.
Ted Koppel,
or you like Ted, right? And it's
You down.
You down. You're just picking which flavor. They were all going to tell you the same thing.
Right.
It's just we were Dan Rather family because we liked his little quips. You know what I mean?
right.
He would be like, if a dog was a horse with a cat tied to its ass, he would like say a thing that sounded so crazy.
He had a little twang.
He had the twang, he had a little Texas to him.
Texas twang.
We found him entertaining, but we weren't learning anything different from him than we were learning if we turned to NBC, right? So it's like that's the difference. There was a monoculture. Now the sense of it being partisan is because Roger Ailes and Rupert Murdoch invented something called Fox that warped the idea of what is fair and balanced. Because they said to conservatives, look, you don't like the fact that the civil rights movement is being covered and it looks like the segregationists are the bad guy. That is where this idea of partisan news came from, because white Southerners said, you're covering us like we're the bad guy, because you are the bad guy, but they didn't like it. And so they started to perceive the media as biased in the 50s and 60s, because you finally had the media actually covering in a way that said there's a victim and a villain here. You go back 30 years before that, lynchings used to be covered just as a happenstance. It just happened. The presumption, even among Northern media, is the person being lynched did it. They deserved it. And there was never real coverage. And the Ida B. Welleses of the world, Black journalists, demanded that is not the way you cover a lynching. You need to talk about this as a crime. And after a while, that actually kicked in. And by the 60s, you had CBS, ABC, NBC going south and putting the camera in the faces of segregationists who would say the N-word, who would say, we don't want these Negroes in here. They would tell who they were. And the world was horrified.
Because you got a chance to see it.
You got a chance to see it. And so what happened is you had some people who were opportunists who said that the Southern conservatives, who were so angry that they were being portrayed as bad guys, they need news that's fair and balanced and that allows their perspective to seem like it's the moderate position. That's all Fox does. It takes conservatism and it feeds it to its audience as the news. All they're doing is telling people what they want to hear. Now, people try to say MSNBC, the artist formerly known, is that same thing on the other side. Not really, because Fox can do it and lie. There's no standards and practices department. They just can say whatever conservatives want to hear. They'll tell you all blacks are criminals, all trans people are sexual predators, that you shouldn't allow, somebody that is in drag to read a story because it's going to turn your kid gay. Like, they say stuff that is insane and not true, but they present it as the news. And so I think we've had a warping of the media to the point where conservatives perceive things that are actually just factual news as partisan.
How do you feel when, I know after you left, when you see other black journalists still on the channels? Because I think, is Sharpton still on?
Rev is still there.
Still, when he's like, we have to talk about what's going on in Iran. After these messages, we gonna talk about that. Now, let's get to the other part of the...
I don't know how you become these other people so completely
like that
perfectly.
Because I watch him and he's like, that was a good report. Now we have to be able to understand that MSNBC
I hate you.
and the other
You ain't
type
right.
of people.
You ain't
right.
But I believe that the discrimination has to be settled. Now, after we come back after these messages, we gonna make sure we attack that. We back.
I hate you.
Oh my goodness.
That's my big brother. Leave my big brother alone.
No, I used to go to the cigar bar with my lawyer, and I'd see Al all the time.
Yeah, he did
I'd be
the
like,
cigar bar.
Cigar bar.
Okay, by the way,
Yeah.
do you know that Jared Kushner owns that building?
What?
Isn't that 666 Fifth Avenue?
666.
That's
Yeah.
the building that Jared Kushner owed like $900 million. Isn't that the building he owned like $900 million in
I don't
a
know
loan,
if
and they made the Qataris cover the loan? I think
Wow.
that's the building.
Because I would go to the Havana
Made the
Club.
Qataris cover the
You
line?
don't remember
That
this
part.
during the first Trump
No, I
administration?
didn't know. I would go to the Havana Club with my lawyer. He goes,
Right.
and I was never a cigar person. And he was a little Jewish guy. He goes, Godfrey, you need to come to the Havana Club. I think you're gonna like it. I go, all right, and I go up there, and I'm like, I like this. I like
a nice place.
cigar. I like cigar bars now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't do it a lot, but it's a cool social. And I would see, and I go, oh, there's Al Sharpton, and the lady be like, he's here every day.
He's there
And you
every day.
Yeah, every day. And you have to put, they give you shoes to put on if you, you go and the lady was like, hey, well, hi, Godfrey. I say, is Al here? Every day. And Al
The
would
one
be,
time I went was for he had his birthday party there one year, and I went to it. No, but
happy birthday to me. I want to thank Joy Reid for celebrating my birthday. It's a good time when you have your birthday. I had a cake. Blew
he
out
doesn't
the
eat
candle.
cake. Okay, now we know your president. He don't eat cake. He
I
don't
know.
eat food.
I'm talking.
He does not eat.
Because when he does his dance
Yes.
and his head, that Al Sharpton, you ever see the Al Sharpton boogie?
Wait, can I tell you guys my Al Sharpton story? Okay,
Yeah,
let
I'll
me
hear
tell you
it.
when I first time I met Reverend Al Sharpton. I've told him this, so I'm not telling nothing out of school.
Uh-oh.
So back in the day when I moved, my mom passed unfortunately when I was 17, so I ended up moving back to Brooklyn, living with my auntie Dolly, and went back to Harvard and changed my whole degree, switched from being a pre-med, ended up going back because I wanted to be Spike Lee. So that's how I kind of ended up here. I switched to like a media degree.
Okay.
But anywho, while now living in New York. Reverend Al Sharpton ran for mayor. Do y'all remember this? He ran for mayor.
I'm probably in Chicago.
Oh, you were probably in Chicago at
Yeah.
the time. So he decides he's going to try to run for mayor. So I was like,
When he was big?
he was big Al Sharpton at the time.
When James Brown had his hair, because James Brown was like, I'm gonna make a hair, huh? Man, no, you got to have a hair like me. Cause Sharpton, how you gonna, we want to run for office, make you be the mayor of New York City. He goes, I believe I can be, Mr. James Brown. You got to get on the good foot. See, I want to tell you something. I want to be a heck machine, grooving it. That's how you got to do it. I want to stand on it. You got to be proud of him. Of what you are. Because if it can't be what you are, then what is it going to be what else has? 2 times.
I mean, that's accurate. I don't know how many people live inside of you, but I think one day a therapist will work on
Joy
it.
Reid. You give me joy. That's Joy Reid. Guyana. Congo.
What was the rest of that? What was the rest of that story? I'm sorry. Let's let it go.
You know how James Brown yells out cities?
He does.
Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, Atlanta, Ethiopia. There's 54 countries. I'm going to go all through them. That's too much. Maythio. How many countries we got? I don't know, James. Well, ass. Kiss my ass. How don't you know? But you know everything in Alabama.
But you don't know Africa.
You know, there's one where LA, they say, what does LA stand for? Low Alabama. It's in one of his songs. I was in tears.
No, he did not say that.
Yeah, he said, he's like,
Just Lower Alabama.
Because he would talk, I'm a James Brown head, so some of his songs that would go 11, 12 minutes, they would just play, they go, hey, and they'd be talking. He said, what is that? What is LA stand for? Low Alabama. That's what I think. Hilarious.
I love James Brown. Well, clearly.
Sorry, I went on.
And I think that was an important wormhole to go down because it sets up the story perfectly.
We do wormholes.
Oh, I know that's right, and I love a wormhole. So he does an event at the Brooklyn Tennis Club. It's this like beautiful building. I don't even know if it's still a tennis club. I'm like, I gotta go meet Al Sharpton because he was like heroic to us. He was like our Dr. King. Like he was the guy who was, Yusuf Hawkins got killed. When I first moved back, right? So I moved back in the late 80s when like it was just dangerous to be black in New York. You would get chased out of. I had a cousin lived in Canarsie. If you crossed over a certain line, the white kids would chase you with baseball bats. Yeah. Howard Beach happened. All that stuff was happening. So to me, I'm like, I gotta meet this legend. He's running for mayor. So I get there late, and so the thing is over. So Sharpton is coming out, because of course I'm always late. So I get there late, Reverend Sharpton is walking out, but he's big Al Sharpton. And I'm running in and he's running out, and we slammed shoulders.
No. Damn. Oh. How was your shoulder, all right?
Ooh, it hurt. Because he was big Al Sharpton at the time. He had his whole Al Sharpton look and everything, slammed into my shoulder. And then he said, oh, I'm so sorry, young lady. Okay, he said it like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Looks like your shoulder is messed up. I'm sorry that I dislocated the rotator cuff. Because you know I'm big and I don't move. I'm a tank. After these messages.
That's what happened. That's it. That's the story. I just get Godfrey to. That's what happened.
Yeah. He said, after these messages, I'm going to the hospital after these messages. Damn.
That's it. That's my story. There's nothing more to it.
Oh, man. All right. So we were talking about the news, and you were talking about Fox and how Rupert changed that. I mean, for me, my perspective, I thought it was like the opinion era of news, because there was that period where I grew up watching and they just gave you the news and it was the fact. And then you got into the opinion, but then you get it on both sides. You get the Fox, you get the CNNs, everyone kind of pinning it to their opinion and moving it to their opinion, how they see it based on their side, right? And you can see it now because they'll bring in the one, token, conservative, or the one token liberal on which one of the networks. And I'm going, is this real news? Or is it turned into news entertainment?
Well, I mean, I would challenge somewhat of that because, Walter Cronkite, who is supposedly the most objective newsman in history, he sat there on CBS News set and said, oh, the Vietnam War is unwinnable. Now, that was his perception of having landed in Vietnam and seen the disaster of that war. Yeah. That would have been considered opinion. But he was an objective newsman who said, no, I've seen this war. It is not winnable. It needs to end. Oof. That is something that Rachel Maddow would do today. It's no different.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so I think for a lot of people, what Rachel Maddow does is not opinion. Like it's actual analysis that's based on facts and it's based on journalism. What they do at Fox is something completely different. But what happened is when that was created, Roger Ailes also created MSNBC. And I think people forget that he was also the guy behind MSNBC, because the idea became, because talk radio was so popular, Rush Limbaugh kind of revolutionized this idea of giving conservatives what they saw as the fair and balanced news. And Roger Ailes just perfected it at Fox. And so Roger Ailes also did create MSNBC, which was called America's Talking at first. And they had right-wing and left-wing opinion shows, but they were just sort of battling it out. Then you had CNN, which is the gold standard of supposedly objective news. They had a thing called Crossfire. Their most popular show.
The blonde-haired guy, Chris Matthews.
Chris Matthews was on MSNBC.
But
Chris Matthews was horrible.
Crossfire. Okay. Oh, wait. Russet. Was
it
Tim Russell?
No, Tim Russell was NBC.
NBC. Okay.
I can't even remember who hosted Crossfire, but all I know is it was a right wing and left winger fighting, and they would just yap at each other, and they would just yell at each other. I remember Jon Stewart ended it.
But that was more than that was like Face the Nation. It was like Face the Nation. Those were the. My father would watch that on Sundays.
Yeah.
Like Sunday Face the Nation.
Face the Nation.
They would fight it out. And so I think that the people have a false perception that at some point there was this pristine objective news. But the reason we see it that way is that back in the 60s, 70s, 50s, it was just white men telling you what happened.
Period.
And as far as, they were all saying the same thing because they all came from the same schools. They all came from the same training. They all had
the same way.
They were effectively the same guy.
Yeah, right.
They just were different flavors of the same guy. And so we perceive that as some sort of golden era. But in that supposedly objective era, you never heard about the lived lives of Black people, brown people, indigenous people. Did you ever see a story that told you? Very rarely you'd see CBS News goes down and they talk to this Black family who tried to integrate this white neighborhood. And you'd get that one incredibly insightful look at the Black life. But it was so rare, because they were doing it almost like anthropologists. Yeah. And so I don't have some sort of nostalgia for that kind of news because it left out so many stories.
I remember local news in Chicago. The South Side was like where all the crime happened.
Right.
And I was on the North Side, and we had crime too. We had Black people too. Just you had good and bad. It's just, but the way the news did it, boy, I was like, the South Side, I ain't going over there. Yeah. And then when I was in college, I started dating women from the South Side. And then I find out about Jack and Jill and, fraternities and the Divine Nine and James Weldon Johnson, the Black National Anthem. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm in my buddy's crib. His mother's a brain surgeon. They have elevators in there. This is the South Side of Chicago.
But you don't hear about that.
You don't hear about
it. Black bourgeois. I'm in Pill Hill.
Yeah.
It's all blacked out. I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking, there was a shooting again on the South Side.
Exactly.
Blacks are killing each other. Yeah. Now sports.
Yeah. And by the way,
it was like that.
Where we lived, it was a town called Montbello. If you just were listened to what the news and sort of the perception, they used to call our town Mont Ghetto. That used to be what they would call it because it was 80% Black and the rest was mainly Mexican and there were a few Hmong and a small number of white people. But because it was majority Black, it was perceived as Mont Ghetto.
You said Hmong, right?
The
Hmong?
The Hmong. Yeah, they were the only other people there.
Asian.
Yeah, they're deporting them now back to Vietnam. They helped us during the Vietnam War. The Hmong, they were a small subgroup in Vietnam that sided with us in Vietnam. And we brought a lot of them over here because they were helping us and they would have gotten killed. And so we brought them here. And now Kristi Noem is trying to deport them. But so one day my teacher, Miss Fain, one of my favorite teachers, my history teacher, she decided to give me a ride home from school. And she drives onto my block, which looks like Leave It to Beaver. Because again, this is a white flat town. These are beautiful homes. We lived in a 3-story home. Yeah. And she was like, wow, Montbello's really beautiful. Because she'd never left just the area where the school is. It's a white woman who and the propaganda was so thorough that a white teacher who chose to teach in a Black school, a majority Black, students, even didn't know that this area is not the ghetto. Right. And that even the part of Montbello that was more working class, where people were poorer, that's where the white people were.
But you wouldn't even know that they were all on welfare too. You wouldn't know that. We were the face of welfare.
That's correct.
Black moms were the welfare. When they were on the welfare the most, they did the most crimes, but we don't control the news.
Talking about controlling news, because that to me is like the biggest issue, because I look at news and I'm like super suspicious of what angle, like whenever I'm watching the news, I got to flip between channels because I'm like, wait, are you trying? Because I like to have my own opinion and not be like pushed into a corner because everyone on one channel is saying one thing. And so I'm like going around trying to read up on it. And I look at the state of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think the state is of news today?
I think the problem with the news business, and I think October 7 and the Gaza war is a perfect sort of, it kind of sums it up perfectly. October 7 happens. It's a terrible thing. All these young people die at a festival. Innocent people die. But we were told 1,200 people died that were all presumably those kids at the festival. We're not told 300 of the people who died are military or police. We're not told that the deaths were not all caused necessarily by Hamas. These people suddenly just came over a wall with nothing and killed 1,200 people, that some of those firefight deaths were because of friendly fire, because when the Israeli military finally gets out there after 9 hours of people suffering and people getting kidnapped, they finally show up and they just start firing indiscriminately, kill some of their own people. And then we're also not told why Hamas did that. And I have a problem with the news because, it was clear that what was not welcome, at least where I was working, was context. We get told, particularly when it comes to Arabs and Muslims and Africans, that people are just diabolically evil for no reason.
Right.
That they do things because they hate our freedoms. We were told this about Iraq, that they just hated us for no damn reason at all. So there's no reason why Iran would hate us. But it turns out there's a lot of reason why Iran should hate us. We took their freedom. And we don't get told that. And so Americans get fed this false objective, story, particularly about global South countries, Muslim countries, African countries, that makes you believe a false narrative that tries to justify our actions. Yeah. Iran has reasons to hate us since 1953. We overthrew their government. We took away their freedom and imposed a Shah on them. Why do they have the Shah of Iran? That's what got me interested in news.
And then
this story.
Ayatollah
Khomeini.
He was always there. You're like, this evil dude.
And we were just told he's just evil. But what we weren't told is that when the Shah was in place for 20 something years, as he's brutally, viciously oppressing his people, the organizing against him took place in mosques. It's the only place that people could meet without being surveilled. So it became a religious-led movement because of that. We are the reason that the religious people, the religious Muslims in that case, it's a majority Muslim country, they're the ones who were organized to overthrow the Shah. That's why we had mullahs. We had mullahs because of us. And we don't get told that because that's an inconvenient narrative. That guy dies, this guy Khomeini takes over. We're just told he's just diabolically evil. Now, I'm not saying that regime is not bad. But by the way, our regime is not good. Our regime has secret police. They have secret police. Our regime is oppressing women, taking away abortion rights, taking away women's rights in like 26 states, some states where they're trying to have the death penalty for having an abortion. They also oppress women. They have the highest rate of women who are in STEM careers. We're kicking women out of the military, out of university. We're saying that DEI means women can't be hired for high positions in the sciences. We're marginally better. And we're doing it for Christianity, they're doing it for Islam, right? Yeah. So it's like we don't get told those things because it would take away the kind of American exceptionalism narrative that makes it easy to take our people and send them off to die in a war that we have nothing to do with, that we don't want. And so I have a problem with the news media not providing context so people understand why these oligarchs are sending our kids off to die in Iran. Why are we doing what Israel says? We need context around that. Israel oppressed the Palestinian people since really 1967, you could say 48, when they drove 750,000 Palestinians out of their homes in the West Bank. Many of them drove them to Gaza. These people grew up in refugee camps. They've never had their own state, the state that was promised to them by the UN. They're living in an open air prison where they can see the sea, they can see the beautiful ocean, but if they go out into it, an Israeli warship might actually shoot and kill them. That happened when Ayman Mohyeldin, my colleague, was standing on the beaches of Gaza. Some kids were kicking around a soccer ball and they got shot dead by an Israeli warship that killed them in front of him.
Whoa.
And what happened was his coverage of it and his passion as a half Palestinian person himself, he is considered the bad guy, that he's not objective. You know, that's what objectivity does to us. So I feel like the news media is failing because they're not telling us why people are doing things.
The context that you're talking about, because the context is so important in how it's delivered. And you said something too, the inconvenient truth. We're not getting the full picture because it's an inconvenient truth. So who the heck is running the media to where you're trying to, why is it an inconvenient truth? Because I found that interesting. You said that, like, who's it inconveniencing?
Oligarchs.
Yeah.
You know, we have oligarchs just like Russia has oligarchs. They own our media. Jeff Bezos, the Ellison brothers, you know, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook and Meta. You name it. All of these oligarchs, they have, and if they have a news organization in the company, it's not the main business. Jeff Bezos his company has military contracts. The Washington Post is just one of the little businesses he owns. Amazon is much more important to his bottom line. He doesn't care if you're getting the truth in the Washington Post. He wants the Washington Post to not get in the way of his other business. Yeah. So he needs the Washington Post to report in a way that doesn't piss Donald Trump off.
Yeah, and you know, you were saying this too, because you were talking about the news.
Fake
and
news.
How
fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah.
Everything is fake.
Yeah,
fake.
And then check this out real quick.
What you're doing is fake. Your suit. He's wearing a suit. You're so bad.
Wore this
You're
suit
trying
for
to
Joy.
Me. I can't.
No,
believe it.
I wore this for Joy. I say, oh, this is gonna be serious.
Suits.
I'm gonna.
You're trying. Your suit's so bad.
This is custom, man.
It's not custom. It's customarily so bad. It's so bad. I can't believe it. I can't believe Akbar comes in Washington, D.C. Let me get a tie.
Okay, hold on.
Fake news.
Hold on.
You're so bad.
Just so you know.
Just like me now. Look at him.
So just so you know.
He thinks he's so much better.
Just so
than
you know. Just so you know,
You've
Black
always
Trump.
been a son of a bitch.
You know, how you go from orange to black?
Oh, no.
Orange is the new black.
We were like this. Orange is the new black.
As soon as I said, I was like, oh,
wait a minute.
Because you were like this. How do you go from orange to black?
Wait a minute.
You saw it.
I saw it in your eyes like this. Comedic genius got me. I did it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
For full context, though, I did go speak on Capitol Hill today.
No, you did.
That's why I'm wearing the suit.
Because
I know people are gonna be
What
like,
are you talking about on Capitol Hill?
Parkinson's. My father has
okay.
Parkinson's,
Yeah, yeah.
and so I went to advocate for,
Which is great.
for an act
great
for
that
the
you-
brain,
Michael J.
healthy
Fox.
brain
But
act.
I thought it when I saw him, I go, yo, this dude's trying to out because Joy Reid is coming.
And I wore a sweatshirt. I mean, look, I wore swag, so I'm sorry.
I was like, I didn't have.
Joy Reid's coming. Make sure.
I didn't have enough time to get back to the hotel and come out and say, you know what, I'm just gonna rock it in a suit, whatever. Like whatever, it is what it is. I look like when I was walking down the streets here, and like people looking at me like I'm some type of.
You're running. Hey, Congress.
Yeah, right.
And
Vote
it's
for me,
blue, too, so
Akbar.
you look like
You said
Make some
what?
changes.
you look like you're running for office.
Yeah,
you do.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked that sucker up in AI. Hey, I'm speaking on Capitol Hill. What color should I wear?
You got that civil rights collar. I feel that the freedom of the Negro has got to come someday. I'm trying to tell you that we're second-class citizens, and I believe, that's right, that one day we are going to find our freedom.
Now I might not get there with you, but I want you to know. How's that?
That was, you did your Barack. You were Barack.
You're being Barack a little bit.
Oh, that was
Yeah, you know your Barack is good. And
That
so
wasn't
Barack-
Martin?
That wasn't Martin. That was Martin Obama.
Okay, wait. Okay, so look, 'cause let me tell you something. When I was younger, I used to style myself as being good at doing impressions. I think we should do a Barack Obama off.
Okay, ready?
Okay, you can do it.
I can do Barack Obama.
Okay, let's see. You go.
So, it's good to be here. Thank you all for having me on the show. And you look very nice. You look very appropriate. That is an appropriate outfit. You, on the other hand, I'm not sure.
You sound like Joy Obama.
Joy Obama. That's my Obama. I think it's pretty good.
Say,
Hello. I talk like this.
Well,
And I say hello. And I speak this way. That's how I talk.
You got the pattern.
It's the pattern.
You got the pattern.
Okay.
Well, Joy, let me.
Now watch this. Watch this.
Let me just say.
It's pretty good.
Look, I appreciate it, but I don't talk like that. Michelle, come check her, Michelle. I'll get Sasha Malia on you too.
Sasha
That's
Malia, I
good.
think Sasha Malia was coming.
That's good. That's good. Okay.
I just want to say that a lot of people they try to impersonate me. It's not bad, but you know, I don't think it's that good. That's my interview Obama. Because Obama, when he's speaking, goes, I can't believe. Can you believe what he said?
That is so true.
Yeah, he does the town hall. You know, when he's got his sleeves rolled up, when he's looking around, he goes, I'm just saying, the guy's a dummy. But when he's like here, he's like, you just got to know that you belong.
And he does the little side look
and
too.
He goes, I remember when I was running for Senate, and I would see guys over there, and I go, wow, those guys must be better than me. And when I when I became senator, I started moving up, sitting down, and I said, ain't all that. You got to know you belong.
That's good. Okay.
You see, there's
more to it.
There's the fluctuation.
There's the fluctuation.
Because Trump is like, you know, when he's in the town hall, he's like, can you believe it? I hate this guy. Don't you want to just punch it? There's my blacks. There you are. You're so good. You're so good. He does this thing with the mic.
And
so good.
He does the soft thing, or he's trying to sound like Marilyn Monroe at a certain point, right?
He does this thing where he's like, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good.
And then he does.
But we have to understand that America's going to be great. Isn't going to be great. And then when he's in his office, he's like, he'd be like, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. But they're going to around and find it out. I know that. I mean, come on, let's be for real.
Okay, I have to ask you this question. Is because Trump is funny when you do it.
He's hilarious and it's scary.
It's scary, right? Because I wonder, do comedians are they happy about the Obama era or horrified?
No. Are they happy about
Are you happy or horrified? Trump. Sorry, we love Obama. Obama wasn't as funny.
But the fact that I can do him, because I do him in red states.
Yeah.
Because I'm imitating him, so it's a neutral position.
Right.
Because I do what he just said.
Yeah.
I'll do exactly what he said. Because I don't go, yo man, Trump ain't blah blah. Because these red people are like, hey, you can't talk about Trump like that.
They're armed.
They got
But
guns.
no, and but what I do is I just imitate him. So they go, damn. And a black dude doing it, it's just the visual is messing them up. So it's a juxtaposition. So I just go, oh, these fake news. And I go, I got to give Trump doesn't care what he says. He keeps it real. That's what I do. Yeah. That's the trick.
Yeah.
I don't oppose it. I just go, you fake news, you're so bad. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. So they laugh and laugh. I'm just doing it. That's my way in.
Yeah.
But there's a ridicule under it.
Yeah.
Because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm going, I should smack you right in the face.
And probably ridicule might go over their heads just a little bit.
But no, I'm sure. But that's my only way because I'm in a red state. I'm there. I don't know this town like that.
Yeah.
So they come pay their money to see me. Right.
Yeah.
So I got to balance it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could easily go, man, Trump ain't shit, man. It's a book. What good is that doing me?
Yeah. And even talking about fake news, like we were talking about, just earlier, we were talking about just kind of how the news portrays certain things. One of the things that always frustrates me is there's a mass shooting in the United States. And whenever there is a white shooter, which is the majority of the time when you look at the mass shooters,
white male,
white male, and then it turns out the next narrative is mental health. How did you know? Right? Yeah. We didn't talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is it always? I can always tell the minute they show the picture, there's almost like mental health becomes the justification. But then when you have it on the other side and it's us. There's not. I've never seen.
Mental health.
There's mental health conversation, and that's just always bothered me. And again, it gets into the conversation of this distrust from the media, because I'm like, no, you're trying to get me to see it a certain way, and you're seeing the same thing now play out on social media. They will clip certain things, throw a narrative on top and get you thinking a different way. So it's almost like Jedi trick. You will see this video like this, even though you'll be like, hey, this video's us talking about, World War III. And we said nothing about World War III. And you believe, I saw that video with them. They were talking about World War III. It never happened.
But isn't it brilliant? It's actually brilliant.
Is it brilliant?
Yeah,
or is it,
it's for the evil people. It's a smart thing to control people. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's, even with your children, the way you control them, you got to do certain tricks.
to get them to eat something. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I said, hey, don't drink coffee. It'll stunt your growth.
No doubt. No, that's
If you
how my
think about
father
it,
did.
like, remember when the Afghan guy, committed that shooting in D.C.? This was like a few months ago, maybe in January. The narrative was immediately to Islam, right? It goes right to that. Or this shooter in Austin, I think he was from Senegal. And he's supposedly wearing a shirt that says "Property of Allah." And I had to immediately start texting Muslim friends, being like, "Would that be normal for a practicing Muslim to wear a shirt that says "Property of Allah"? And everybody was like, "Absolutely not." But there's no narrative, there's no questioning of that narrative. It goes right to Islam.
Yeah, no context.
No
nothing.
context, no mental health conversation. And in the case of the guy who was from Afghanistan, just a little bit of digging by one news outlet, it turns out this guy was used by us in a militia in Afghanistan, which was a death squad wherein he was killing his own people for us. This dude has clearly got a mental health issue. He came back fried in the brain from having been used as a very young man in his, I think, early 20s or late teens. He gets into this militia fighting for us, killing his own people. Now, you got brought over here. He has all kind of PTSD. He has all kinds of mental health problems. He comes in here and he's still got mental health problems. But that is not part of the narrative because he is Muslim.
Anti-blackness. You can't. They don't see us as human beings.
It's a problem. It's like we can't cover people who are not white in the media properly. We just can't.
Right. It's not. It's just straight racism. That's plain and simple. Is what it is. We try to talk around it. They don't see us as human beings.
No.
I mean, why do you think the BAFTA thing happened?
Right.
I mean, Delroy Lindo's from London.
What did you think about that?
So the BAFTA thing was complicated because obviously we're dealing with somebody who is dealing with Tourette's, and this is a real illness. It's a real thing.
doubt.
And it's not about him so much, but BAFTA edited out a different presenter who said Free Palestine.
Yeah.
So they took the time to take that out, but they didn't feel like they maybe ought to edit this out. Right. And so it's like, I got to ask what was in the minds of the BAFTA people, because they seem to be okay with the harm. The guy didn't intend harm, but it did harm for people to have to hear that Delroy Lindo and these brothers are standing up there in a great moment for them. And instead they're having to hear the N-word. We don't think that we maybe want to edit that out.
Right.
Then they had 2 hours to.
Of course.
They had you can do it on the spot.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They did it before at BAFTA, the N-word. Happened, that was the second time. And then they did it twice.
So they edited it out.
They did it another year. It happened to black people. So kiss my ass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Forever.
Yeah.
I don't, BAFTA, what does it stand for? Black people always trying to forgive
British.
Tourette's again?
We're about to get
We're going to go to another commercial because that was a good one. Godfrey always coming up with the quips. I'll tell you, black people are always forgiving Tourette's again. Damn, that was a good one. Yeah, it's like, because Tourette's doesn't cause racism. You already have information in your brain. You already have information. So if there was some whites up there and he said that, I go, okay, but you're seeing these black people, and so you're thinking the worst of the worst. Or if he saw women and he goes, "You C-word, you fucking," that you would have to apologize to them and say, "I have this thing."
Right.
You apologize to them. My problem.
Your biggest gripe was the fact that he apologized to the
To
Academy.
the Academy.
Academy.
It was because for some reason, some white men can't see themselves apologizing to a black man. That's like, what? I mean, you're talking about, that's why the history is important. Old black men were called boy by young white boys. They weren't called mister.
Right, right.
So this is important to learn this connection of behavior. England doesn't have a good reputation for respecting black folks either, because they had the Windrush with all the Caribbeans and the Windrush. And so I went on a tour about Windrush and the Caribbean migration and the hatefulness that they had. And so, England, colonizing us. And so for him to say that, and you're thinking about, this man had a film in that same award show.
Yeah.
So he's seeing two dudes that are killing it, winning a lot. So he could have been like, because beating him in because they're competing. So I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. You should have said, Mr. Lindo, Mr. Michael B. Jordan, I'm very sorry, but you didn't do it. So that dude can kiss my ass.
Right. Yeah, and then there's been mental health, conversations around Kanye West, but he doesn't get that pass, right? Like we just label him off. You know what I mean?
He definitely hasn't been. I mean, like, and that's obvious.
Right.
Like to me, it's
Right.
actually abuse to interview him at this point. Like that's why I never saw it in an interview, because it's like at this point people are exploiting him. People are like, let's get him in front of us. That dude is good.
Yeah, he's gonna say something crazy. Yeah. I want to switch to this because you mentioned we were just doing the Barack Obama impersonation. He went to Harvard. You went to Harvard. Now, you guys went at different times. But
we overlapped.
Overlapped just a little bit. So did you guys ever cross prior to?
So the only time, and I should never tell this story again because it makes me look like a terrible pundit. The one time that I was in the same room with Barack Obama, because he was at the law school and I was undergrad.
Yep.
And I had a good friend, God rest her soul, Shotzi, my best friend Shotzi at the time. She wanted a law school man. So we would go to law school parties. And Shotzi, Mecca Nelson, and I went to a law school party. She was trying to, right? Okay, yeah. She was like, let me go ahead and we're going. So we always trying to go to these little law school parties. We went to one party and Barack Obama was there because he had just won. He had just become the named Law Review. Okay. So he was a president of the Law Review, which was the first black man to ever be named that.
Wow.
First black person, period. So he was the big man on campus. So he was like a star. And I remember saying, turning to Mecca and Shotzi. Shotzi is gone. She's left this plane, so she can't tell on me. But Mecca is still alive and can tell on me. I said, man, it is too bad his name is Barack Obama because he could have been the first black president. I did say that.
You said that.
I did. I said, it's too bad. I said, the name is the only issue because he's got everything else. So,
wow.
Those are what I know.
Wow, that is insane.
Oh. Wow. So
my worst pundit moment.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Barry, his name was Barry.
We learned from that. We learned from it. What was that like being, Harvard? I want to go back to your Harvard because, I appreciate how humble you are because, even when you said Harvard, you didn't go Harvard.
Harvard.
But you have it in you.
I have it in me. I did get into Yale. And beneath me.
So where did you go to school?
Harvard.
And I remember going, when I would perform in Boston, I'd go to the Harvard Yard. Go to the Harvard Yard there, Bobby. You used to go to Harvard Yard over there in Boston.
Yeah.
So I'd go over there and I'd see that John Harvard. He'd be sitting like this, that little statue of John Harvard. I go, look at this guy right here.
Oh, and the cops who talk like that was our biggest problem. They would pull over the little Harvard. I used to ride the Harvard shuttle. I was a broke kid. I didn't have any money. Actually, my mom unfortunately passed away like 22 days before I started school. Oh, wow. So my first year was just a dumpster fire of depression and drinking and sadness. And so, and also I didn't have any money. And of course, because Harvard is cruel, they decided to transfer what would have been my mother's payment onto me. So I had to work 4 jobs. I used to wash blackboards. I got a job driving the shuttle bus.
That's the West Indian in you.
It's the West Indian me. I had many jobs. 10 jobs. I used to tape the class I was taking. I was taking it because I was a pre-med. I was taping it. I took a chemistry class and I used to tape the class. And I would be so tired I would start to fall asleep and I'd hear in my ear, you're panning, you're panning, you're panning, you're panning, you're panning. And I'd wake up and try to tape it. Wow. But so that was like my freshman year was actually kind of a dumpster fire. So I didn't actually really enjoy Harvard that much because it was just, I was not in my full strength, mentally and in terms of mental health.
That must have been a huge accomplishment, before your mom, left this earth, like to know that her daughter was going to Harvard University.
Yeah.
Like, walk me through that. Like when you had that, oh shoot, I got into Harvard. I'm going to Harvard, Ivy League.
So the little recruiters, they come out and they sort of interview you to see if you're Harvard material. And so I remember doing the interview. I was in this place called the Village Inn, which was a local restaurant. And the lady who was white was trying to find me. And I'm like, I bet you that's the lady. And she's not looking for a black person. So she's looking around for me. And I'm I'm just going to sit here until she figures out it's me. I'm not going to go and approach her at all. It took a while before she figured out.
Bring me a menu. I'm looking for white
named Joy.
Definitely looking for, it couldn't be you.
Definitely not you, man. She looked at me like 10 times, looked past me like,
who's the person? So you saw her, and then she's looking for you, and then
it took a while, but she did interview me, but I did get in. So when I applied, I had really good school counselors, and they were like, you can get in, you should apply. So I applied to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, University of Denver to make sure that
Columbia,
and I did not apply to Columbia, and I applied to Vassar. So those are the 5 schools, and I got into all except Stanford. Stanford put me on the wait list. Oh. F them. They put me on the wait list, but everybody else I got in. So I remember the day that, when you apply to these schools, you get the fat envelope or the skinny envelope. Like that's how the counselor described it. So she's like, when you start getting your, acceptance or rejection, what you're looking for is the fat envelope. So I just still remember the day that I went to the mailbox, opened, and there were a bunch of fat envelopes in there.
Wow.
And I just started opening them, and I opened, I think, the Yale one first. I also got into Brown. So my sister
you
got into
all
Brown.
the big ones.
Yeah, and so I wasn't going to go to Brown because I'm a lot of personality, and my sister was at Brown. I was like, I will crowd her out. I'm just noisy and weird, and I'm like, let her have her space. So I didn't want to go to Brown, but I did get in, and then I just opened them and opened. My mother, when she got home, I just handed her all the, because it was for her. My mother and I were very, very tight. And it was her dream for me to go to Harvard. And I low-key really wanted to go to Yale, to be honest. I kind of thought I would prefer Yale a little bit, but she was so excited about Harvard. There was no way I was going to say no. Like I went because she wanted me to go.
What did you study at Harvard?
At first I was a pre-med.
Pre-med. And then you switched to
So yeah, so my mom never got a chance to go, because she passed away like 22 days out. I get there, I was a complete mess. I got my first F. I never had failed a class in my whole life. I got 1 C in typing, and my mother literally drove down her 2-hour drive from University of Northern Colorado, where she worked, to scream at my typing teacher that she was ruining my GPA, because I never had gotten anything but A's. And so I get a C, and she lost it. I was like, please don't come down and embarrass me. The teacher's gonna hate me. She was like, I don't care. I'm coming down to you. Take it back down. And she lost her mind.
Right.
West Indian. So, so Harvard was hard. It was difficult because I was doing something I no longer believed in. I didn't want to be a doctor. My mother had died of cancer, and I just thought doctors weren't. I thought medicine. And I was like, I don't want to be this, and I just hated it. I hated every minute. Hated all my classes. Started failing classes. So, and Harvard isn't really helpful. They give you the suicide hotline and like the directions to the lunchroom. Like they don't really give you a lot of coddling. Like my sister was at Brown, where they really coddle you and they give you a TA, and they were always, they're much more friendly. So I wound up taking a year off, and I had to figure out what I was going to do. So I moved from Denver, where we were Methodists, doing 1-hour church, to my auntie Dolly, who was an evangelical 4-night-a-week church that lasts 4 hours, and it was a lot. And it was very jarring. And so I wound up like moving out from my auntie Dolly, who I absolutely love my auntie, but I was like, let me live on my own. And I wound up just by chance moving to Fort Greene. And that's where Spike Lee was cooking. He was doing it. It was Brooklyn Bohemia. And so I went back and became a film major. And I was like, I'm gonna be Spike Lee.
And so that's what inspired you to get into that.
To media. They didn't have a documentary film major. They had something called visual environmental studies, because it's Harvard. They're like, you're at Harvard. Doesn't matter what you major in, right? Yeah. So I go back, I major in VES, and with a documentary concentration, came out and was like, I'm gonna make movies. And so I went and got a job eventually at School of Visual Arts. That's where I met my husband, Jason. I was working in the production office. He was still a student there. And that's how we met. And we decided to form a production company. And our first thing that we did was a show called Video Dubplate. We did a music video show. Not a movie, but we did music video show.
Video Soul, like
Video
Donnie
Soul.
Simpson.
We were like competing with Rachel, who was
Rachel, the
Caribbean Rhythm.
Caribbean Rhythm. I used to love me some Rachel.
People loved it. We were her competition, honey. We were competing with her.
Her and Ananda Lewis.
Ananda Lewis. Yes.
And
that was the music video era. It was like a dope era.
It was. MTV was rolling, everybody, and then it just, these reality shows, they said, let's suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not be live. Remember TRL?
Yes.
I did Spring Break 2 years in a row. This brother, I will never forget, Rod Asa, wherever you are, this dude, I know he's a big time, he's doing something, he's the one that put me in MTV. I was like I was doing the 10 spot. I was in the mix, man.
Yeah, I remember.
Spring Break. My friends were like, "Yo,
I remember.
you was in Spring Break in Congo." I was like, "Yo, son." And I met, I was with Missy Elliott, Buster. I was in the mix, Fat Joe, Sean Paul.
Listen.
Just give me the light. I'm
Pastor Joe.
like, hey, what's up, everyone? Just give me the light. I remember when Sean Paul, this was so funny. So, I'm hanging, it's me, Missy Elliott, Sean Paul, and then everybody's like performing in the outdoors, Spring Break. And Sean Paul's doing, I said, my friend, Ixia, she was a background dancer. So I'm like, and so Sean Paul is doing his thing, right? And after the show, he goes, "Nah, I'm in shape, brother. Nah, bomba clot." Man, I'm getting lazy, bro. It was so funny because he had to be like,
he had to do the whole thing.
He came in like
gotta
this.
do it all.
He was just like this.
You have to sell it.
He was like this,
sell it.
man, out of shape. Man, I was I'm tired.
Listen.
It was so funny.
No, it was fun. We met Buju Banton when he was real young. He was like a kid. He had no dreads yet. He had the little bobbles on his
walk
head.
like a champion.
Yes.
Talk like a champion.
I mean, it was so much fun. So that's how we kind of started out. And we had a news segment. We had this woman named Debbie Goodison who was our news segment. So we did it all. We had music videos. We used to rewind the videos. We'd be like, rewind and put the video, put it up.
Oh, that's cool.
We had the best time. That's how we kind of got started. And then we wound up moving to Florida. And I really couldn't do what I was doing for my day job. And I wound up just writing to the local Fox affiliate, WSBN, and they gave me a job, and I started out in news that way, in local news.
And you didn't, obviously, you hadn't looked back and just continued to
Stayed in that
build.
track.
Stayed in that track.
Moved to NBC News, the local NBC News affiliate, quit because of the Iraq War. I was very anti-war, and they were just jingoism central. I couldn't take the way the media was doing the Iraq War. I got out of it. Wound up working on this campaign called America Coming Together, which was trying to help poor John Kerry beat George W. Bush. We lost, but then some of my friends from that campaign were working on the Obama campaign. So in 2008, I got pulled into that campaign. In between, did talk radio, and sort of the rest is history.
Wow.
Wow, look at that. I used to watch your show all the time. I used to go in though. They were good. Like Abby, what's her name?
Abby Phillips.
Abby Phillips. That's a pretty good segment, even though they get that one.
He is such an
I
ass.
hate that dude, that conservative. He always smug.
Smug.
What are you talking about?
Smug.
I'd probably slide and drop kick him. I can't stand his face.
I couldn't do it.
His smug face is like this. What do you mean? I'd be like,
And it doesn't.
One person that could not work in news would be
hell no.
Yeah.
I'm the worst.
So you went from local to read out. How did you get, how did that happen? Because it was massive. It was cool. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, so basically I was in local, quit because of the war, went and got a job in talk radio, and I was chilling in talk radio, after working on the 2004 campaign. We lost. So I got a job. My mentor, James T. Thomas, hired me to be his producer, ended up being his co-host. I worked for Radio 1. We were doing this morning show. Actually, Sharpton was our 4:00 show, and we were the morning show in Miami, and that's where I ran back into Obama, and that's where I saw him. That's where I sort of saw him again for the first time since college, because when he was running, when he wasn't running, he was the main sort of spokesman for Kerry, so he came down to do speeches and stuff like that for him. So that's kind of what I did, and then when I got to work on his campaign, because my friends from 2004 got me to work on 2008, when he won, it was like a huge opportunity for everyone. If you were any way associated, and I was a minor player in the Florida campaign, but if you're just associated with him, everybody wants to book you. I started getting booked on British TV to talk about the campaign. I'm suddenly a pundit. Everybody wants to talk to me, and I caught the attention of thegrio.com. They had David Wilson had just founded The Grio. He needed a managing editor. He had a friend that worked with me at TVJ before reach out to me, and I wound up coming to New York to run The Grio.
So The Grio is Byron runs it now.
Well, Byron has it now, but David Wilson founded it.
Before, because
Yeah.
He bought it.
He bought it from David.
Because I just got on The Grio. They just put an article on me because I was talking about that we should have our own award shows. I think that when we're being disrespected, we should just stick with our own stuff and stop showing up to this other, which I agree with. Because every time, when I was at NAACP thing, I did the Black Critics' Choice, I said, this is amazing.
Yeah.
All these dope, and plus our celebrities are better than theirs.
And it's more fun.
It's way more fun.
The BAFTAs, later for that.
Okay.
So anyway, I was at The Grio, and I used to just be on shows. I was on Hardball all the time.
Hardball, that's Chris Matthews.
That's Chris Matthews. So I started filling in for folks. I then got my little dayside show, The Reid Report, which got canceled. Me and Ronan Farrow both got canceled after a year of doing that
was
show.
1 year, yep.
Yeah, and then I ended up just going out and doing reporting. Now I'm suddenly a reporter because my show was canceled. Phil Griffin was like, get out there and report. I did a lot of Black Lives Matter cases. I did the Trayvon Martin case, and wound up just kind of being a journalist, on air when I was more of a producer, managing editor. And then from there, it was kind of the rest is history. When Melissa Harris Perry left MSNBC.
Melissa Harris Perry, I used to watch her.
And her show was dope, right? Nerdland. And I was her fill-in. And when she left, I did not want to take the job because Twitter was going to hate anybody that sat in that seat because they were so mad that she left. Yeah. But she blessed the idea of me taking over for her, and I picked up the ball, and kind of the rest is history. That show was a hit, like highest rated weekend show they had ever had. And then when Chris Matthews was unsummarily pushed out of MSNBC, I got tapped to take that over, and that's how I got the readout. So
That is, I mean, that must have been like a cool moment for you. I mean, was that like a kind of a pinch me moment? Like, man, I started here locally, and then wait, what? Now you're sitting there, big time. I mean, big time platform, big time show, great ratings, and like, what was that feeling like when you kind of got to that moment where you're going?
Well, I mean,
this is my.
At first, it wasn't great because Chris Matthews was kind of a mentor to me, and I was upset about him being pushed out, and I didn't want him to. It was the same with Melissa. It was like bittersweet because, you know, I was happy to sort of be a caretaker for what she built, but I didn't want her to leave. You know what I mean? And I thought Chris Matthews deserved more time. So I wasn't like rooting for myself to get these jobs. I just ended up taking them and ended up doing it because I was, you know, being told this is what we need you to do. Just do it. And I just put my head down and just did the job. And I loved my teams, both of those weekends and all three of my shows. The teams have been great. We made them really diverse. We always made sure we had super diverse teams, brought super diverse perspectives, and we were able to do stories that nobody else would do.
What Tamron Hall had a show? Was she ever?
She did.
Yeah. I used to watch because I was like, who is that?
Tamron Hall. She had that daytime show, so she had my old spot.
That's
so
why I would watch Tamron Hall's show.
And she recommended
before she had
me.
to talk. So I go, who's this fine black woman on there? I'd be like, wow. Every time I would look for like hot black chicks, I'd be like, I'm here. I was Joy Reid. I'm like Tamron Hall. All the black women.
Tamron taught me how to walk in heels. Tamron from Texas, and I couldn't walk in heels, and she was like, "You're gonna learn to walk in these heels right now. Put those heels down and strut."
I would watch all the
work it.
I would watch all the dope black girls on there, all the black women on there. And what's the other lady that got taken away?
I mean, black people, we're starting to become an endangered species in this news business. I mean, they're getting
purposely
because DEI, anti-DEI, is interpreted by a lot of these corporate suits as black. Yep. They just, even though
of course, it's always black though.
Yeah, they interpret it as black.
Anytime they're talking, it's about us.
Yeah.
Paul Mooney said it best. I'm going to tell you why white folks are mad. White folks are mad because got away. Got away. Got away. It's because they don't have slaves anymore. He goes, when we was free, we didn't have no jobs. When we were slaves, we had 12 jobs. He said, imagine if slavery was to come back, they'd be like, oh, welcome home.
Welcome back.
We haven't seen you in a long time. Your room is exactly the way we left it. Paul Mooney he was right. That's the reason, because all the wars in America were fought because of slavery. Right. Yeah. They wanted to keep what was the economy was slavery. Yeah. The first thing on Wall Street was slaves.
Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing. It's always about us.
Yeah.
Anytime they talk sideways, it's always us in the peripheral. When they go DEI, it means black people.
To them. But the thing is, the thing that's so crazy is that functionally, affirmative action and DEI mainly benefited white women. So we didn't even benefit disproportionately. We actually didn't. And now but we are being hurt disproportionately, because when they say we're getting rid of DEI, it's interpreted by these C-suites as fire all the black people.
Yeah, and then I don't know if the lower courts or something, but I know the Fourth Circuit ruling reshaped the organization and approach of DEI, right? I think going up against what Donald Trump was trying to do with DEI, was there a change and movement in that?
I mean, to me, it almost doesn't matter what the courts say, because the way that companies are interpreting it, the way Hollywood is interpreting it, you're hearing all these stories out of Hollywood. Just don't greenlight black stories.
Right.
Just don't hire black actors.
Period.
My sister's an actress. June Carroll, by the way, hire her if you're making a movie. Yep. She's amazing. But I mean, it's like they're hiring fewer of us. Yep. They're giving fewer of our scripts green lights. Yep. They're giving fewer of our making fewer of our stories.
Everything they wanted to do.
Because they interpret it
black.
And it's not even that Trump, signed a law saying you can't hire black people, but this is the way people are complying.
Well, that's just, it's always been in them. They're like, just give us the go. Just give us the go. No blacks, ha ha! But they're not going to touch the NFL and the NBA.
Oh, no.
Because I think you should fire all of them too, and then we form our own league.
Right.
They were like, well, don't touch the NFL.
No, wait, hold on now. Don't get too
We don't
crazy
want the score to be 1-3.
Right.
We got still need dunks and stuff.
Go crazy.
Jesus, who's going to catch? No, we don't want to. Yeah, you notice sports was untouched. Untouched.
Yeah, I know.
Because I said, how come it's still black? Why is the NFL still 70? You know what I'm saying? Because whenever they're benefiting monetarily, sexually, or whatever, that's when it's good. But if they're not if we have autonomous happiness,
Yeah.
then it's like, oh.
You gotta end that.
You ever see at a restaurant when black people are by themselves happy, they go, they're making a lot of noise. They go, you are too.
Right.
You are too. It's like,
And you're
black.
complaining.
Right.
And you're complaining.
Right, but it's like when they see us, they say, get out of here. Okay, we'll get out of here. Get out of our town. Okay, we'll go build our own. Let's go burn that. What are they
Yeah,
doing?
we gotta burn it. Right.
Because we're running rent-free in their heads every day. We run rent-free.
Yeah.
This is all facts.
What do you think the long-term impact is going to be with affirmative action and the removal of affirmative action?
I mean, so I'll give you Harvard, for instance.
Okay.
The class the last affirmative action class at Harvard before the ruling went through had about 14% black, and when I went, it was 6% black. So it improved to get close to parity in our population. But it was 27% Asian. Asian Americans, Asian people are 5% of the country, but they were 27% of that incoming class. After affirmative action, those numbers are roughly the same.
Same, right?
The numbers of white men have gone down.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't worked out. And so now you're seeing the Stephen Millers of the world look at these elite universities and not see the number of white men increasing. And now they want those universities investigated. But what they're leaving out of the story is that for a generation, people like Stephen Miller, people like the late Charlie Kirk, have been telling white men, don't go to college. They've been telling him it's a waste of money. It's an indoctrination factory to turn you into a liberal, to make you woke. And so white men are self-selecting out of college. And so now when you open up the opportunity to go to Harvard, the people who are prepared to go to Harvard, who are busting their ass in high school trying to get good grades, are immigrant kids who they're chasing away. You know, the international student body is plummeting, and that's what keeps these schools open, because the international students, like our parents, the government paid their bill.
Yeah.
There was they weren't paying for it. My father got his education because the government of the Congo paid for it, then Zaire. And so when you take the kids coming from China, that full payment from the Chinese government is gone. And the American kids who need student loans, who in many cases aren't even prepared for college, you're now whittling it down, and you're expecting white men to carry the burden. I mean, if I was a white guy, I'd be kind of offended. You want me to be all the pilots. You want me to be all the people in the Defense Department. You want me to do all the jobs. I got to be every job. I got to go to all the Harvards. I got to do all these things. And I've been told for a generation, don't even go to college at all. So a lot of these guys are not even prepared. So they're not even qualified.
But there's a lot of them are mediocre anyway.
So they weren't prepared. And so
They're
it's
not
like
prepared.
they expected that this would mean that Harvard would now be like 80% white men. It isn't. The majority of college students in America are women. More white women go to college than white men. And so now when they're looking at it, they're not getting the white man bonanza they expected. And the Stephen Millers of the world are mad about it.
And he needs to go that little.
The Hague. That's one place he should be, The Hague.
He thinks he's so dope. And I think, and there's a lot of, did you notice the first person to get a PhD is W.B. Du Bois, right?
Du Bois, yeah.
But
At Harvard.
if you notice when you were in Harvard, there was just legacy people where they were like dumb people.
Absolutely.
It's like, you dumb as hell. And they
Some
was
of
just
the
in there.
dumbest people I met in the world were people at Harvard who were legacies. The smartest people I met. Ketanji Brown Jackson, I went to college with her. She was a year behind me. Smartest person I ever met. Her roommates, geniuses. Genius. All four of them. Because they had to work 10 times as hard.
Just to get in.
Just to get in. Whereas the legacy kids, they didn't go to class. They were high. They were smoking weed because they didn't have to even get good grades. It didn't matter. They grade on a curve at Harvard, so they weren't going to fail. You know, I got E's when I'm talking about failing. I got an E. They didn't give you an F because they made it on a curve. And they try to keep you in. They put you on academic probation, et cetera. These guys go from academic probation to a ritzy job on Wall Street. Even if they passed no classes, these people didn't work. They didn't try. They didn't have to do anything but play lacrosse on the weekends and chill and get high. We're producing a group of people who are coming out of Harvard who are no more educated than had they not gone at all, because they didn't have to even read a book while they were there, because they're legacies.
It's all smoke
and they
and
don't
mirrors.
deserve to be there.
At
The grades
all.
were in high school.
At all.
And yet they had the name. I mean, I went to college with a woman whose name was on one of the buildings. Of course she got in. Her name is on a building.
Oh, right. Because her family, she's a legacy.
Her family's a legacy. So it's like, that person, is that person smarter than Ketanji? No. But that person gets to get it, and no one questions their presence.
None.
No one says, is that okay? But they say that this affirmative action genius kid from Ohio somewhere that busted their ass in high school doesn't belong there simply because they're black. back. That's America.
Yeah, and you've had this interesting thing talking about the United States and just kind of the things that are going on now. You've talked about dictators from other countries getting killed after they tried to stop trading with U.S. currency. Explain that and what happens diplomatically with the U.S. and other countries who might try to do things differently than the way the U.S. expects them to.
Right, and again, it's talking context, right? Saddam Hussein was evil, but when he was our guy that we were using as a prop to fight Iran, he was our guy. We were paying for him. We were propping him up and keeping him in power, despite how cruel he was to his own people. We didn't care. He used our chemical weapons to bomb Iran in their war in the 1980s. We were fine with it. And then when we decided we were done with him because he wanted to then start to nationalize his own oil, then we were like, let's overthrow that guy. Mossadegh, the president of Iran, duly elected. The people loved him, but he said, I want to nationalize our oil. This is our oil. It should benefit us. We were like, no, BP owns that oil. Knocked him off, put in the Shah.
What was that? Oh, yeah, what was that guy's name?
Mossadegh, the guy in Iran.
Yeah.
And then you go to, we propped up the, completely authoritarian government in Egypt for 42 years because they were playing ball with us. As long as you do what we say, you can be a dictator. We actually don't care about whether you're a dictator and hurt your own people. Mobutu Sese Seko, in my father's country, he was the CIA's guy. 42 years he oppressed the people who had already been through so much with King Leopold. He knocks off Patrice Lumumba, who was their George Washington, who was the man, right? Wow. And the CIA says, not good enough. You're not going to do what we say. Go away. We're going to give you Mobutu. You will have it. We did it Salvador Allende. We give them Pinochet. In Chile, we destroyed Chile because they elected somebody who didn't obey us. So the U.S. has a history of destroying countries by getting rid of their elected governments when they won't obey us and give us their resources. Trump operates that way. He says, the Panama Canal is ours. Give it to us or we're going to destroy you. Cuba is in the dark right now because we're going to pressure Cuba because we don't want them to be able to supply medical personnel into Venezuela until Venezuela obeys. We're going to knock off the new Iranian government to try to control their movement of oil, control Venezuela's movement of oil, control Greenland and their resources. Oof. This imperialism is causing the blowback that gets Americans killed. Yep. And Americans, meaning our troops, but also people overseas that are just in a base somewhere, a military base that get built. So we have to stop this empirical bullshit.
Yeah.
We're getting people killed.
Because I love how well informed you are, especially on international matters. And we talked about that. We were saying this earlier, as far as how much we know about international affairs, where's the best place for people to get that full context to be able to understand? Because you hear one perspective and immediately it turns into a partisan conversation. Yeah. You're either left, you're right on this situation, but what's the truth?
Yeah.
Where do you get your truth from? How do you get the truth and understanding kind of the bigger play in what's happening in U.S. politics and international politics?
Well, it's becoming less left and right because, and weirdly enough, MAGA and progressives agree on Israel, agree on Palestine. We kind of agree. We have kind of gone across the Rubicon of disagreement. On some things, we're starting to agree. Americans are waking up to the fact that we've been sold a bill of goods, that we have to lay down our lives for a client country. They're a client state. Why do they get to control us? Why are they controlling the president? I think we agree on that left and right. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I think the best thing is what you said earlier is don't just watch one news source and people who watch Fox just watch Fox. Yep. That's why they are completely inundated in disinformation. You have to bounce around. I'll see what they say on the right. I'll read some of their stuff as well. But I also read the BBC, which I think is a good source of news and information. I love Al Jazeera English.
Al Jazeera?
I think Al Jazeera gives some of the best. Mark Lamont Hill is over there. They do some of the best analysis, the best information. Mehdi Hassan came from there.
Mehdi Hassan.
And I do love independent media. I love Zateo. I'm a subscriber, love it. And I listen to a lot of independent media. We watch Don Lemon.
Shout out to Roland Martin.
Shout out to Roland Martin.
I do the Don Lemon show. I was on it.
You just on it right there. Right?
Don Lemon show. I'm proud to say, he's winning awards. He's doing well. I'm proud to be part of his first couple of episodes. Mm-hmm. Also, Roland Martin, who really went independent because I remember when Roland Martin was on.
He was on CNN.
CNN and schooling people. Roland it was so great. It was him, the Latin lady that's on The View now.
Right.
It was her, and they would go at it, and he'd be like, I got receipts.
It's literally how he said.
That's more Steve Harvey.
No.
No,
That's
him.
Roland Martin. I'm around. No, it would be like, yeah, I got receipts, boy. Your ass better understand that I don't know what you done did, but I'm gonna tell you this right. That's Steve Harvey. But Roland's like this. I got receipts. See, here's the problem. See, back in 1970, Roland don't play. Roland don't play. Alpha Phi Alpha, he don't play.
He does not
And
play.
he was so good during the campaign, Obama campaign. They were trying to dog Obama. He would wipe the floor, everybody. All of a sudden, he gets fired.
Yeah.
Then he goes on BT, does his little thing in DC. I did
Yep.
that.
Yep, I used to do that show.
And and I would keep in touch with him all the time on live during COVID. I'd be on him. And so he was like, I'm going independent. I've been telling these fools to go independent. So I want to give Roland Martin a shout out
For sure.
for what he's done, and just to see you all following along and kicking out. I sent you a message. I said, you watch, Joy.
Yes, indeed.
You about to
You
kick
did.
some. I sent her a message. I said, you going to kick some. You watch.
I can't wait to, because I'm gonna get into that, because I had one more question, because I want to talk about the independent and kind of where media is going, and where people and how people can find you, and not only just find you, but how they can get the best and real stuff. But the U.S. dollar, there are about right now 20 to 24 countries that have already ditched the U.S. dollar. How much is America in trouble with the ditching of the U.S. dollars internationally?
Huge trouble. And this is, again, problems with context with media. They don't tell you. So Venezuela, they have the largest proven crude reserves on earth, more than Iran. Iran is number 2, they're number 1. So Saudi Arabia, they think, is number 1. They're number 3, I think, or 4. Russia has some, we have some, but the big mother lode is in Venezuela. But it's heavy crude. It's very hard to refine and very hard to turn into gasoline. So Citgo is their big company. They do supply some gas, right? But they're not the biggest. But what they and Saudi and all the others, what they actually do that helps the U.S. economy, they all trade in petrodollars. So the petrodollar is an invention that the United States came up with, I want to say during the Nixon administration, where essentially they said, if you sell your oil in dollars, and only in dollars, never put it in yen, don't put it in rubles, just do it in dollars. You sell your oil in dollars, and then you take what's called that petrodollar, and you deposit that back into the U.S. by buying U.S. bonds. That transaction of selling oil in petrodollars and then taking the proceeds and buying U.S. bonds is literally what props up our economy. No one talks about it. It's just too weird in the weeds, and people in the news media don't think about it. But that petrodollar system is keeping our economy afloat. The reason BRICS is such a risk to the United States is that they're their own little coalition. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
BRICS. If BRICS ever became BRICS, y'all family country, if Nigeria, which is really playing with entering it, which is a major oil producing country. So now
I think seventh in the world.
Seventh in the world. So let's say Nigeria gets in it. What about Somalia? Why do we care so much about Somalis? Somalia has a lot of oil too. What if Somalia were to go in it and become another S in BRICS? If these countries and the global South, and they're tied to Russia, because there R in BRICS is Russia, and the C in BRICS is China. If that global South conglomerate, it can literally challenge American dominance on the earth. And if they ever said, now we're going to trade oil in rubles or in yuan, in Chinese yuan, we're cooked. Our economy is cooked. And the reason—
So what would happen to all the people, like reserves of people's bank accounts and the value of the dollar and this?
Down. And Trump is already pushing the value of the dollar down. The value of the dollar—
How so?
Trump wants a weak dollar because it makes it cheaper to buy U.S. goods. So Trump has been doing all of these things to try to get people focused on Bitcoin and all of these other things. And also his tariffs are making the dollar go down in value, which for Americans, if you sell stuff, it's good, because if the dollar is lower, it's cheaper to buy American stuff, right? If the dollar is worth less, you can actually buy more stuff. And so Trump thinks that's going to produce this big industrial trade. It's not doing that. All that's happening is the tariffs are pissing people off, causing people to say, fuck you, we're out of here, we don't want to deal with you at all. We may actually want to just start selling stuff in Chinese yuan. And that's the big risk. China is playing a long game. They've been around for thousands of years, honey. We've been around for 250. They're like, go ahead, little baby, go ahead and keep playing with us, toddler. We're going to sit back in our Chinese Confucius way and wait for y'all empire to fall.
That's what
That's crazy.
Victor Gao,
Yes.
Victor Gao said that to J.D. Vance's when J.D. Vance goes, these peasants, he says,
He called them peasants.
Mr. J.D. Vance,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
you called us peasants, but I'm proud to be from peasants. In fact, we went to the same law school. I went before you. Maybe you need to go back and review. And besides, China's 5,000 years old.
Come on.
You're only 200. So you're nothing compared to China. It would behoove you to, he
Crushed him.
Mike dropped his ass.
Mike dropped his ass.
Crushed him.
And the reality is, if I'm betting, who are you going to bet on? The country that's dropping $1.3 million bombs on $20,000 drones in Iran, spending, what are we spending, $1 billion a week to bomb Iran? Every single bomb we drop is $1.3 million. Every single drone Iran puts up is $20,000. So we're already in a deficit with this war. We're already every time we drop a bomb. Trump has called Raytheon and the other big industrial military companies to come to the White House for emergency meetings to say, you need to produce more. We need more bombs because we're dropping so many and spending and wasting so much money. So we're now in the position the old Soviet Union was in. They spent themselves to death in Afghanistan. They eventually they destroyed themselves. It wasn't Reagan that destroyed them. They destroyed themselves by fighting for 20 years in Afghanistan. We did Afghanistan for 20 years. We did Iraq for 15 years. We've now done Iran, which is now spiraling into a regional war. They're now bombing.
I mean, he's just going everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
He wants to, but Trump has had this dream of being a dictator.
Global
he wants
dictator.
to be this MacArthur. It's this grandiose thing.
Yeah.
That bomb them. He just wants. It's like he's cosplaying a president.
And with that, like I'm like, wait, what is the impact in the economics? Because if that's happening and you're seeing that, like, what does that bleed out and look like to the average person, like the everyday person? How does that manifest?
What I would say is, be very careful because our stock market right now is mainly propped up by AI companies. Our economy is mainly propped up by AI companies. We've bet so big on AI. It is a bubble. Eventually that bubble is going to burst. Yeah. And the two industries that we are currently propping up in America is incarceration, the mass incarceration of immigrants. That's the new business we're in. That's the only new business we've created in the last decade other than AI. Yeah. And we're building AI plants which are polluting our country and betting on that as the future. And the third thing is you've got these billionaires, these oligarchs who think they can eventually replace all currency globally with crypto. And so they think they can just create this crypto economy where you trade everything in blockchain and all this other bullshit and replace all currency with that. In the end, what happens is they get to be trillionaires and a lot of people end up poor. And so I think we are losing our empire. Our empire is fading. Donald Trump is a fading dictator who's basically running us out. He's wringing out whatever was good in this country, and he's going to turn us into a third world country. America is going to be the ghetto because of Donald John Trump. And I liken the election in 2024 to that scene in Sinners where those people were in the juke joint. And you know what the rule is when you're in a juke joint. Don't let the vampires in. And these motherfuckers let the vampires in. Yeah. And it never goes well when you do that.
You think China is looking at this and going, wait, this is why we're going to start, because you're seeing a big presence around Africa. You see Nigeria helping to build infrastructure.
You know who China is in Sinners? The indigenous people. They said, we told you that there were some vampires over there, and we said they was dancing an Irish jig. If you don't want to hear it, we're out. They're waiting for everything to take place in the juke joint and just waiting to clean up the pieces. China, we are entering the great China century. China will win the Game of Thrones.
Wow, that's deep.
Gavin Newsom, what do you think?
I mean, I like Gavin's energy.
He seems like the guy. He's so pissed at Trump. I swear, when his speeches, he just goes, "Yo, I want to knock him out. I just want to hit him." I think Gavin might be the guy. That's all. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He
talks like a good game.
He talks a good. I'm not saying he's perfect. He's slick, but he has the look.
Yeah.
And,
He does.
And he's angry enough at him.
That's a crazy even thought, right? That he has the look.
No,
That's
but there's
Americans
a
are
look.
visual.
We're visual. There is a look,
visual.
though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Well,
crazy.
you see Pritzker's trying to lose weight to get the look.
Who's that?
Pritzker's trying to lose weight, and JB Pritzker, he's trying to lose weight quick.
There is a look.
That's
a
crazy.
thing.
Yeah.
Because, because a lot of presidents are tall, too.
Yes.
So that,
And he's taller than Trump.
he's taller than him. Damn. So, that is a
Which
big
will
deal.
intimidate Trump.
You don't think Trump will even think about this third
Yeah,
term?
that's
will.
him and Bannon.
I know I've heard him, but like,
Yes, he will.
Oh, yeah.
but is he,
Trump is not going to leave willingly.
how could he possibly do that? It's
How could he possibly do any of the things he's doing? Those tariffs are illegal. The war in Iran is illegal. Him enriching himself off of crypto while he's president. Melania having $sign Melania, which looks like Melania, having that. All of this is illegal. Everything. He's just like, I do illegal. And
It is
come and get me.
literally-
you think
It's all
he's,
illegal.
so you think he's going to try
Darth
for a third
Vader.
term?
I would
I know
presume-
he said it. I don't want people think like I know he said this.
No,
like yeah, maybe I could.
Steve Bannon
Yeah.
is like, we're going to do whatever. He's
remember
like
he
the
said that,
town
yeah.
drunk. Let me tell you
So
something.
no, just to be like, so do you think that's something that he would actually literally? Wow.
Yeah.
Because the only way Donald Trump can ensure he never goes to prison is to be president.
Yeah.
Being president is how he stays out of prison.
He said if he doesn't, he goes, if I don't get midterms, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna go to jail. He said it in the speech. I was watching him, and you're going to lose midterms.
He is.
Because
You're
I
going
think,
to
I
lose.
think
Well, if there are midterms.
yeah.
That are legitimately run, right? If they don't,
Because he's always trying
steal
to erase certain things
right.
too.
They're trying to do national emergency. He's toying around with the idea, could I have a national emergency and postpone the midterms? Because that's
because
what
of a war.
Zelensky did.
Yeah.
If there's a war.
If there's a war, you can't have
But I think
an
people
election.
are waking up because the Supreme Court shut down. Like what, a week and a half ago, he asked for something. I can't remember. He was pissed that the Supreme Court was like, "Nah, you're not getting that."
I wouldn't, and the thing is, I wouldn't count on John Roberts and them to stop Trump. I mean, the problem with the United States now, and it's ironic because we're in our 250th birthday of the Declaration of Independence, is that we have monarchists. Just like, Iran has monarchists who are like dreaming of putting the Shah back on the throne. We have monarchists who really want a king. And I think one of them is John Roberts of the Supreme Court. I think those six, they would very much like to have a king, and they would like it to be a conservative Republican because that's their ideology.
Do you think? Who do you think is the next runner-up? I know there's been talks of Stephen A. Smith running for president. You don't think?
Is you
What do you-
is you ain't my baby. Baby,
Do you
baby,
think-
please don't let me down.
Hold on.
A woman is a creature that's always been strange. And then you turn around, then she don't go made a change.
You just let her into it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, looks like we gonna be running for president because the white folk like me. In fact, I ain't running for president. I like vice president because I like a boss above me. So
I need more wine.
I'm gonna go vice. I'm doing vice president. I don't want president because I like to work for a boss. Boss man.
Next question.
Is we sick, boss? The terrorists gonna tear things down.
I know he did speak up on you. Like, was that
Stephen?
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith. He spoke
is
on your
going on with-
departure.
Stephen A. Smith, he has maybe like 500,000 viewers a night, which is good on a sports show. That's never, like, I had higher ratings than him on my worst day
Damn.
than he had on his best day.
Wow.
So if that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
And also, Stephen A. Smith, weirdly enough, has like created this political show with a set that looks like my old set, which is very creepy. And then third of all, dude, you're not a political pundit. Like, stick to sports.
Thank you.
Stick to sports.
Listen, I was first take happy. I liked how Steve, I like how
He's good at
controversial.
that.
His sports thing, I loved it. Oh, what are you? Come on. What are you talking? I loved it. It was fun. I like that. His sports, I get it. Then when he went off on Jasmine Crockett,
Come on. What are you doing?
and you telling her how she should talk to people, I said, what is this tap dancing at? This is real like my boy Shane says, coontastic ass behavior. And I was like, why are you telling Jasmine, who's in the trenches, doing her thing every day. Does she come and tell you how to do sports? He literally told her how he should be talking to she should be talking to white folk. He's literally Fiddler from Roots.
He said,
White man give us good food.
Not Fiddler.
He's Fiddler.
and Fiddler.
He's Fiddler. He's like, you need to know how to talk to white men. That's why you don't get nothing done.
I can't. I can't.
Wrong with the court and heated radic Rambo. Wrong with the court and heated radic Rambo.
What about Kamala Harris? Do you think she has an opportunity to come back and try to run again?
I hope she doesn't run again. I don't think she should run again.
Why is that?
She should take a break.
Yeah, I think there's she's a lovely human being. I think there are great ways she can serve. I don't think that the United States is going to elect a woman in my lifetime.
Wow.
It's really a shame.
Yeah, wow.
I don't believe. And also, I think that in order for her to have won last time, and this isn't something I wouldn't have said to her personally, is she needed to take a giant step away from Joe Biden's Middle East policy. His policies in vis-a-vis Israel and Gaza were an abomination, and they were a stain on his presidency. And her association with that is still something that causes her to get protests everywhere she goes. She has to take a giant step away from it. If she ran again, she would have to repudiate Biden on Israel, Gaza. That's the only way she could do it. And she's super loyal. I don't know if she would do that.
What about when when you think about Kamala being thrown in kind of at the last minute to run for, there was this long delay about kind of acknowledging where Joe Biden was health-wise. And for her being thrown in at the last minute, there's some that believe that if there was a little bit more time for her, that she would have had the opportunity to really contend against Donald Trump. But that was...
He never should have run for re-election. He never should have.
But you know what? There was this issue, and it's a little frustrating too, because there were people who were calling it out, and anyone who called out Joe Biden's, his health situation was looked at you're turning against the party. So no one could internally or within the party speak out on it without looking like you were being being betrayed or betrayed.
The reality is, I would take Joe Biden's mental acuity versus Donald Trump. It's not even close. If we're not going to talk about Donald Trump seeming to have pre-dementia, I don't even care about Joe. And honestly, I said if he continued to run, I would have, and I deeply opposed Biden's war policies. I thought his policies toward Israel, again, were morally decrepit. I thought that he shamed himself by standing by Bibi Netanyahu no matter what. I was embarrassed by it. I was reluctant to vote for him because of it. But him versus Trump, you're going to tell me Trump seems to be cognitively okay? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Trump went out. I remember he was walking towards the window whenever. You see
He was wandering. Where's he going?
He just went towards the window.
He just went toward the window.
They were
What's
like,
he doing?
so they were asked. He was sitting in their little meeting room, and he goes,
just got
"Did
up.
you see that over there? That's beautiful, isn't it?" They were like,
And he started staring out the window.
he just stared out the window. He was just
What are we doing?
He was like,
Is
"This
anybody
is
calling
beautiful. This is fantastic. I can't believe it."
Biden just gave a speech last week. He seemed fine to me. Biden was off and on. They're old. They're both old
It
people.
should be younger.
It should
they
be
gotta
younger.
go young. This is too much.
It's too much.
I'm saying it should
Agree.
be much younger. You should be able to run as a young president.
It would have been interesting to see if there was an acknowledgement early what Kamala could have done. Because it was I think there was a great window right there to be able to see.
But I thought she
perhaps
won after
an
Elon
American-
kind of manipulated.
I'm starting to wonder about that too.
They say they think she won.
I'm starting to worry
But
about
of
it.
course, Elon, I just want to, we have to understand that technology is, what's very important is that they think that the technology is going to destroy the life. I don't think so. Because when we get to Mars,
Sir, did you just have a glitch?
there's a glitch in the matrix. And what I want to do is, I'm definitely going to, I'm going to fix the matrix because, hey, so I'm going to fix the matrix. And I just think that it's going to be a much better world.
So accurate.
Has to be a better world.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be. It's going to be.
It's definitely a different world. It's definitely a different world nowadays.
came from.
Man, I'm this is the guy.
Oh no, Peter Thiel is worse. Peter Thiel is more incoherent than They're all incoherent. If you listen to them, if you listen to Larry Ellison talk, you're like, oh my God, that's who controls the world.
What do you think? What are your thoughts about the billionaires and their acquisitions of all of this media?
These are
and
all
the way
a
they
bunch
controls
of cognitively declining weirdos
that didn't get no ass in high school.
Come on.
Didn't go to the prom.
Didn't.
They was punks. They was they were cornballs, and then they got money. And you take that and that socially inept with money.
But here's the thing: as a high school nerd, this isn't people who didn't go to the prom. These are the people who used to take a nap in their locker and who used to worry might come to school armed. They were so weird that people were slightly afraid of them. Like, these are people who weren't just like regular nerds. These aren't like normal nerds.
No, normal nerds,
These
right.
are people who were like so out there that you were a little concerned about them. You know what I mean? Like, these people are oddities.
Why do you think they're getting to the space of, like, especially with coming to owning like these media companies? Why do you think they're in this space?
Because now what they can do with these media companies, I mean, let's just take Meta, for instance. Let's just take Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Zuckerberg and the Winklevoss twins. They were a bunch of geeks who went to Harvard and created a thing to rate girls. Because they couldn't get girls. That's all Facebook was. We had a thing called the freshman Facebook at Harvard, and it was a paper Facebook they would go through, and the freshman boys would go through and mark and give women ratings.
Right.
These were boys who had probably never touched a human woman.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
They would never,
right.
and probably never would. Okay.
Right. Human
They had maybe a blow-up doll is the closest they would ever get to a woman.
In fact.
To a woman's vagina.
Fact.
And so they were here and they were using the Facebook to be like, let's rate these girls. They were like Beavis and Butthead. And then three of the Beavis and Butthead, Butthead and Buttheader, they created Facebook and they just digitized the freshman Facebook. And all they did it for initially was to rate women, to basically be like on the hotness scale. First of all, on the hotness scale, they were like a -10.
Right.
And so that's the kind of men who now run the country. People who are mad at women, who hate women, who feel like women need to shut the hell up, make them a sandwich, marry them and shut up. They hate men like you all. They don't like alpha men. They think men who get women, who women like, who are popular, they hate them. And so now they've created a matrix, a world in which they are supreme, in which they can use other humans like toys. And they probably dreamed of doing in high school. They probably dreamed,
course
I'm
they
gonna
did.
I'm gonna use everyone like a toy.
But the world has the characteristic of a nerd now. Like, even going out is a little, everything's kind of, it's like it's their personality.
It's their personality.
Everything's controlled, socially inept.
Yep.
You know, even like socializing is a little
It's off.
cold. It's the way they wanted it because
Yes.
it was their life.
That's right.
Now the world is them. Because I think they need to show a picture of the earth with glasses and buck teeth.
Pretty much. Because they are now like, and you can't say no to me now. Because I can see you through your glasses. You hear about this new thing that Facebook Meta glasses, people can surveil you through them. They can watch women on the toilet now. They can watch you in the shower.
Well, they're
they're living their dream.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're looking through the phones. And so they're living their dream of being able to control other people and surveil them.
You know, it's crazy because I have the Meta glasses and I've struggled using it because I'm like, what am I? It's weird. Like, the only time I found use for the Meta glasses is like when I'm at my kids' games or something like that, because it's hard to, like, I just want to watch with my eyes and just not having to be messing with the phone. But in other uses, it feels intrusive. You're walking around with it, like trying to find a moment to use it. And, you know, you're just saying.
It's surveilling you.
Yeah.
And it works really well too, those guys.
I mean, for me, the only purpose that I use it for is so I can be present when I'm watching my kids' game, and you know, I can just record like the little bits. Oh, okay, I watched that and I saw it, you know, when they're playing. But outside of that, it just feels weird. So I don't use it as outside of filming my kids' game. But to hear that, I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me. But the other part that is really like frustrating to me is that the media, especially in social media, is like very controlling of the way we think, way we behave. And I keep talking about it, but this damn algorithm is scary, and how it can put you can have 10 people in a house and everyone's living in different realities and silos, and you're living in the same house, you're experiencing the same thing, but you're seeing and experiencing the outside world differently. And literally, like, the algorithm can change this conversation and make it something totally different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, I'm like the one peeking out. I'm like, yo, this is This is scary.
It is scary. And the Ellisons getting control of TikTok. Because remember, the reason that a bunch of Democrats, idiots, even voted for this law that made TikTok illegal is because they said you can't have the Chinese government controlling the algorithm, not the program, but the algorithm. And now who controls the algorithm? The Ellisons. And they have a very specific ideology.
Okay.
So do I want their ideology controlling the algorithm? No.
It's okay. So I did
That's
this.
why I'm a videos.
I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes sometimes and get a little scary. Like, oh man, I don't know what's. I think that's mine. Yeah, I think that's mine. So every now and again, you know, we all do it where we get the terms and agreements and we just click and we don't.
Yeah.
And so I have like 1.1 million followers on TikTok, and I wanted to go back on to my TikTok, and it says
It popped up the terms.
it popped up, and I was like, wait, I've already been on this thing. I said, I don't want to. I said, let me just look into this thing. I said, I'm not itching to get into it. Let me just tell you what I did. I took the terms and agreement and I popped it into AI. I said, this is way too much for you. I ain't reading all this. Tell me what I'm giving up. Tell me what, and I promise you, and I put it in my notes. I had no idea you were going to talk about this, but let me hold on one second. It is scary. Oh, it is scary. They have the forever license. They can take the privacy that you're giving up. They can, without your consent, they can use your face, your voice, and to train their AI models.
Correct.
That's what Kabi did. You know Kabi?
I said,
Kabi
what?
just got 900 million
Yes.
for his likeness forever. He sold his, and he's the biggest TikTok.
They can use, it says no truth guaranteed. They admit AI generated content might be inaccurate, misleading, or offensive. And if you get misled by one of them, oh well, it doesn't like. So this is just the wild, wild west, or whatever you want to call it.
My sister was involved, you know, when the actors unions were trying to renegotiate their contract. This was one of the issues. They wanted actors to allow studios to use their image that way. So imagine you're in a movie, and now forever they can take your image from that film and then reproduce it into porn, into whatever movie they want, put you in the background of another film.
Man.
I mean, and for performers, for you guys, I mean, they're talking about. I would not put like a comedy routine on TikTok. I wouldn't do it because if you do it, they can use it. They can steal it. They can steal your image. They can steal
take
everything.
all of it. Yeah, all of it.
And they own it.
It says it right here. It says
routines
the privacy policy
do.
is much more invasive than the terms and service because it details the specific data TikTok harvests. And it just breaks down what they harvest. I mean, I can go
Health
through so much
information.
Your health information, communication, your digital footprint. Get this one. This one freaking tripped me out. It can. I'm not making this up. Keystroke patterns. They track the rhythm of how you type. This is often used to identify you even if you switch accounts. I go, wait, I have a rhythm in which I type?
Sure.
I said, what?
That's insane.
I won't get back into my TikTok because of it. And I'm like, that is, I mean, look, this list goes on and on. And this is the abbreviated version through AI. That was enough to make me go, oh, I'm good. And if you're complicit to it, you're just saying, oh, everybody else is doing it. And I know people are going to get in the comments and be like, oh, well, what you think they're doing on Facebook? And what you think?
They are.
Oh, my gosh. But I already signed up for that one, so I guess I'm screwed.
We're already on it.
We're already on it.
Well, I don't know if I want to, you know what I mean? Like, but
I don't trust Meta. I don't trust any. The bottom line is you have to, you know, I think what we need to do, just if you're aware of it, is just be a little bit more judicious with what you do with your image and with your content.
Yeah.
You know, our daughter is an artist. She pulled herself off of Instagram because if you put your art on Instagram, and I know artists who've had their art stolen, because they then use it for their AI, and obviously it generates AI images using the art you created. Your original work is gone. They don't pay you for it, and they want to do it without compensating people. So it's just, we're in a wild, wild west.
It doesn't. There's no compensation for any of your stuff, and however they use it. No. Oh, I'm glad you.
It's a bad time.
All right, I want to get a little bit into your personal life. Let's talk about your husband. You guys, you said you met earlier when
at School of Visual Arts.
Yeah, the School of Visual Arts.
Yes, it was pre the Me Too era, so it's fine.
Okay.
When guys get to talk, say, "What's up, lady?"
Okay. Yeah. So I did some real digging for this one. Been married for a very long time.
Yes.
29
years as of February 27th.
Nice.
29 years, and you guys are business partners. First off, what is the dang on secret? What is this? Because 29 years.
Yeah.
I've been married 17 years. That's a lot of years. years.
Yeah, well, we have the same mission. I think part of what you need is a friendship that's the basis of your relationship. That helps. And we started out as, we were friends and dating at the same time. We were part of our little group that was doing our little music video show. We were a little collective of little Black people trying to do our little thing. So we've always had the same mission. We've always wanted to do a production company. We want to do the same things. We're both in media, which helps, because if you're in media, it can be challenging being married to somebody who's not in the business, because the hours are crazy. The demands are nuts. Like you're not home a lot. You travel a lot, right? And so it's like somebody who's actually in the business as well gets it. They really understand it. And we're just on the same wavelength of the things we want to do. I mean, he was for a long time trying to tell me to go independent. And so as soon as, and we had a production company already, and we, documentary film production company. And when I got fired on my day off, like they say on Friday, he was like, good, let's roll. He was ready to stop, drop, and roll and get the Joy Reid show. And it took us like 5 months to set the show up, 4 months to just get the technical piece of it down. So we were ready to roll. So that helps.
Yeah. Were you scared? Your husband's pushing you that way. He's like, all right, I'm down for it. I'm ready. Were you scared to go independent, like especially coming from like the big networks and knowing like the big engine that runs the network and the ad agencies? Like, what's that been like, now the Joy Reid show where everybody gets to like feed straight to you?
Right. No, I mean, and I should mention also, we got together very young. Okay. We were both 21, so now I'm a baby. I'm basically a kid. So I'm young and fresh. Thank you. But no, so I wasn't scared because we had been doing production stuff for so long that I know I am really bad. I can barely get my laptop and my phone to work, but I know he's really good at that. That's the other thing, is each person has a skill. I'm a news person, but he's got that technical skill. So I knew that whatever we did was going to be high quality. He's an exceptional editor. So I knew whatever we did was going to look amazing. I knew it was going to be technically brilliant, and that all I had to do was just do what I do. Now, the other piece that was challenging is that now I'm back to being a producer. I was a producer before, so it's like you got to be a producer and talent, and then running a business and doing all that. That is more intimidating to me than doing the show, because running a business is hard. Like it's a lot of work. A ton of work. Yeah. And so, we are a tiny team doing the work of what I used to have 60 people to do at MS. So that is the hardest part, is just the actual physical work of it and the exhaustion of it. But the freedom is fabulous. And one thing I definitely don't miss is having to, get yelled at by my bosses because I said talk too much about Gaza. You know what I mean? I can say what I want.
Right. Right. And so there's going to be a freedom to that. Like when people are watching now the Joy Reid show, what are they going to get different from Joy Reid that they perhaps couldn't see when you were on network television?
So the two things that are different is I can cuss, which I got in trouble for doing at MS. I'm a cussing Christian.
Shut
so if
your
I
ass
drop
up.
an F-bomb, I can say that.
It's beautiful.
I can say that.
You can say it.
And they got really mad. They were like, no name calling. We used to have this segment called The Worst Person in the World, and then our boss got mad. Was like, we don't like the name calling, because we used to call Ted Cruz Cancun Cruz and stuff like that. Now I don't have to worry about that. I can tweet and social media. I can do whatever I want. And so I love that. But what you're going to get different is that I can kind of just be myself and not have to edit myself for a corporate boss. How
do you go through do you still, as you're going through, right, and it's not going through standards and practice, right? There's no standard in practice. What type of editorial editorial control do you put into the content that going out? Are you going to be double checking some way? I said this, but I don't know if that's right or that's accurate. Who does that? Who double checks? Who checks Joy?
Yeah, I double check it. If I have a producer, I'll run stuff by certain producers. If I'm not sure, we have a couple interns. But if they give me something, I'll have a producer try to help me double check it. But I'm having to do a lot of it myself. But I used to work in standards and practices. The good thing about being an OG in the business, for a while I worked at CBS Standards and Practices. Ooh. So I'm in a way, I think standards and practices wise, I'm always thinking no defamation. Making sure
you weren't the one when I was working on the talk. You weren't the one giving me notes, were you?
Don't talk. We don't talk.
You were
No, this was in when I had my year off. When I took my year off from school, one of my little jobs, I worked at CBS Standards and Practices for Jane Ann McGettrick was my boss, and they were straight. They used to call themselves the censors. They were honest about what we were doing. So I had that in my mind, and I dealt a lot with standards and practices when I was managing editor of the Griot. So I know how they operate. Yeah. So I know what the parameters and the limits are, what we can say.
Yeah. And I would say this because it's so cool to see, a black couple, a strong couple, a power couple working together, and it's cool to see 29 years, but I want to go all the way back to like the beginning, because you and your husband, your first date, he took you to go see a movie, Strictly Business. Now you guys are strictly
business.
You guys not
Halle
strictly,
Berry.
yeah, you guys not just doing Strictly Business.
Yes.
But after the movie,
Hello,
I went deep in the internet on
deep,
this one.
yeah.
After the movie, where'd you take your husband?
Okay, so here's what happened.
Sit
Let me
back to
just
this
explain.
one. Sit
Let me
back to this
explain
one.
to
Cheesecake
No.
Factory.
Listen to
two
this.
roads. So when we met, we were working. We were working at School of Visual Arts. He was working in the production company. I was the boss in the production company. Again, it was pre-Me Too, so we were allowed to date. So don't say nothing to me. And so we decided our first date, and I was making $5.25 an hour. Okay, let's just be real. I didn't have the money.
$5.25.
I was making $5.25 an hour. I don't know what they were paying him. I wasn't in charge. We were probably making $5 an hour. We weren't making a lot of money. So we had to do a date that was not expensive. So we decided to split it. So I paid for the dinner and he paid for the movie. So he paid for the Strictly Business and the popcorn. And then I took him to McDonald's, and I'm not ashamed because I let him supersize it. I said, usually I don't do this, but go on and get you the big fries. That's why I'm a baller bitch. That's why he said, that's the woman for me. That's the woman for me.
He said, I'm gonna take the number two.
I'm gonna take
I'm gonna take number two.
Instead of saying I'll take 2 bottles of that, so like we gonna get the we doing it big.
Right.
Supersize.
We're supersized.
Get the big fries.
So you get
get you
whatever
apple pie.
in the picture. Don't go veering off. What about apple pie? Is it in the combo picture?
Do you remember what was ordered on that first date?
I had a Big Mac, large fries. That used to be my signature meal. A Big
right.
Mac, large fries, and a Coke, and a pie, and apple pie. And
The original apple pie.
the original one,
Steaming.
the fried one,
The fried
not
Fried
the
was baked crap.
What was that?
That was
Yeah, right.
Not an
whack.
apple pie. Like,
Whack.
fried apple, give it to me like I like
That
it.
was McDoo-doo.
Yeah, it was McDoo-doo.
McDoo-doo.
And he got a quarter pounder and cheese, large fries, and a Coca-Cola. That was his signature meal, and an apple pie.
Okay.
That's good as that's good as hell. I don't care what nobody said. That shit is tight.
It was an excellent meal.
Let me just throw you on the hot seat. I'm gonna throw you on the hot seat. This is gonna be very, very political. If you guys were to go and recreate that first date, how would that play out? Where would you take him now? Where would that dinner place be?
Well, I'm a little bit more spoiled now.
Okay, I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear big time. I want to hear big time, Joy. You went from McDonald's to what now?
McDonald's to what? So I would say like a fun date, like to now. And we've done this before. Maybe we will go to see like
Burger King. How
Burger
about
King is
that?
whack. I don't like Burger King.
That's the advancement?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Now that's a step up.
That's a
Because
step
they
up.
got the waffle fry.
We got the waffle fries.
Hell yeah, with that little special sauce. Come on now, that's a step up now. That's a step up. We can pay for our own.
No, I think what you do now, like a good date now would be like you go to like a 4 season, you do like the 4 seasons
Sweet.
because they have a great restaurant, a fabulous
yeah.
restaurant, right? And you could kind of do the 4 seasons in New York. I think that's fabulous. And then I like the Harlem Dance Theater Harlem.
Yeah.
Because we went to that. That was a good date one time. You go to the Dance Theater Harlem. It's something. It's not what you would normally do
Yeah.
with a brother. You get the brother to go and do something that was not like a normal thing that he would be into.
Right.
And so I think you kind of try to flip it up, switch it up. So I think
like
you do
that.
Dance Theater Harlem, go and see an amazing show, and then hit that 4 seasons,
Boom.
get that restaurant and meal, and then get you a room and go make you a baby.
Ow! Yeah! I feel
Although I don't want no more kids.
He over there like that. He over there like, yeah!
Your husband back there, huh? You said what?
We can do that tonight. He's like, girl, you ain't said nothing but a word.
It's like nothing but a word.
Kids. And here you thought you were about to be an empty nester.
Never gonna be empty.
That's
That's cool. And you guys have 3 kids.
We have 3 kidults. We have a 30-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 26-year-old.
Yeah, 3 adults.
Married, I have nothing. Nothing.
I mean, I have 3 if you'd like to. I would send one over.
I have nothing. I'm not married, no girl, nothing.
No.
I have good girlfriends.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
Good
just run into-
girlfriends.
No, I run into weird. My ex-girlfriend is one of my best friends, but I don't. I'm dating.
So what is
they-
the challenge? Because this is one thing that I talk with my youngest about this all the time, how hard it is to date now.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's like
Yeah,
very
it's
difficult?
it's really, and I'm really jaded by a lot. I get bored quick, and it's like
And I'm so, and you know what it is too, the fact that social media turned a lot of stuff around for me, I'm so focused on that because I'm like, I'm on to something.
Yeah.
Because I'd never really been on to something like this because I was always, everything I'm doing now, even I got, Eric Benet.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Benet is now in the camera talking.
Yes,
mad shit.
he is.
And he goes, dude, because a lot of them are following me because I've been talking like this.
Mm-hmm.
I never stopped talking like that. So I was shunned out of a lot of stuff. Even with black folks, it was like a little too much.
It's like too much,
And
right.
so I was always that guy, still talking shit. I was like intellectual, pro-black, I was always black women and blah, blah, blah. And I was able to balance it, but it was always, get the cooning, get those dudes, get those women that do that. I always stayed in my shit. I never stopped. But then social media was like, oh, wow. Oh,
They
we
discover
love
something
this.
they think is
And then
new.
I said, I've been, and I'll see comments going, Godfrey been talking like this.
Exactly.
He's been talking like this. So it's like, I focused on that. I'm really focused on it. Now I said, if something happens where I haven't had anybody that I go, yeah. I haven't had that. Listen, I'm not saying I'm a creep, but I'll be on Instagram like, damn, look at this big ass there. I said it to my boy, yo, look at this ass right here. Is that AI? I don't know. But you don't know if anything's AI. What's up?
Godfrey, I gotta ask you. Do you love her?
No.
Go after her.
Oh, you remember that? Do you love her? Then go.
Then go after her.
I haven't felt that in a long time. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as shallow and going, damn, she bad.
Right.
I'm in that, just like she's bad.
Would you get married?
If it happens, it has to be
Do you
real.
want to get married?
I don't really care about a marriage. I care about the relationship. I don't care about all that.
You want kids?
I don't. If I can get a couple off, cool. I'm like, I can be like this. Say hello to my little friend. Right? I don't know.
First of all,
I'm an older guy.
I have to I'm just going to look, and I am a married person, so I'm not, taking it for what it is. I think people emphasize too much that it has to be about marriage. I personally think. I think in the modern world, if you can just get a good,
just get somebody you work at. I don't
Agreed.
care about all that.
No.
I'm just saying, I want to get to, I mean, I haven't been to where I go, yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think about anybody.
Yeah.
I don't think about anybody.
Yeah, because you on your shit doing your thing.
I don't think of anyone. No song reminds me of anybody, nothing, none of that. I'm like, I don't think of anybody. I'm always Wu-Tang.
Yeah. She said I'm always.
Well, listen,
I'm Wu-Tang all day,
as the
baby.
daughter of an African, this is an opportunity. So I'm going to start going through the Rolodex of my friends. I'm really going to
No,
do
because
that.
and I have a certain type body. I'm picky.
What's your type?
Pretty and that take care of themselves, body wise, smart. Not annoying, not combative, because that ain't happening. I'm not stressing out.
Yeah.
I've earned my keep as an older guy. I'm not stressing out. I'm not competing against you. Just chill. I like have your own friends.
Yeah.
Solitude. Even if we're in the same house, go over. Let's just solitude.
You ain't got to be on top of each other. You can do your own thing.
When it has to be all of that or nothing.
Yeah.
I'll be by my damn self.
And what would you say to women out there who are like, saying that they're looking for a man? Like I think you're somebody to be respected, not only for who you are as a person, but your work, but then 29 years of marriage. And like, I'm at this stage in my life where I'm seeing a lot of people around me getting divorced. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn, what happened? Like, it was just like.
And like the couples you think are going to make it.
But it
What
happens.
happens?
And it just starts falling down. So
Yeah.
what would you say out there to women who are looking for a husband? We heard from Godfrey. We know like how he thinks. What's your thoughts
And
on
I got single friends that
Yeah.
are always looking. I mean, the reality is, I think the most important relationship is with yourself.
No
I
doubt.
genuinely do. I think if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, then there's no point in having a relationship. No relationship can fill what's missing in
You gotta be a full circle.
It's
You can't
gotta
come
be-
as a half
But
That's
circle.
correct.
do you think that puts the pressure of perfection? Like I have this conversation with young boys about like, oh, I gotta have this, I gotta have the money, I gotta have this, I gotta have the job, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. And at some point you just start working yourself until like you gotta feel like you're perfect in order to be in a relationship, because getting to know yourself and being with yourself is two different things.
That's very true.
Because it's a growing thing. Like as you grow, I'm not the same person I was,
Exactly.
a year ago.
But I mean, if you have good self-possession and you really have developed like an understanding and liking of yourself, I don't think it's even about having money. And I feel bad for young people now, because we have this conversation with our son too. It's like, the expectations on young men are you got to be rich,
And that's
famous,
what they're doing.
and then it's
Yeah.
like so these young men they feel like they're always inadequate to the girls
Yep.
looking for them to pay for dinner, do for
Facts.
the, and it's
Facts.
also I feel like for young women the idea is it's okay to grow with somebody. Me and my husband literally were at McDonald's and a movie. Like,
so that's the
and
truth.
we
Which is-
grew
which is
from
great.
broke.
Yeah.
We literally grew up together. You know, we were in our 20s and we grew up together. I would be at his house, you know, because like I said, I was a little orphan. My mom was gone. My father was in Congo. And so when I would go hang out in Queens with his family, they were like my family. So I was like kind of adopting the family. We were two people with no money. We were two people with big dreams and we were growing together. And I wish more young people would think about the idea the person doesn't have to have everything already. You can literally start from nothing and grow together to have something. We did it.
That
I wish people would do
It's
that.
the world of quick fixes.
It's the quick fix is
but
bad.
the quick fix is being exacerated by social
Social media.
And social
Yes.
media saying you're seeing this too. And this actually happened with my wife and I, where we had to go, whoa, time out. Because for the young kids, it's happening one thing like a girl wants this, and then for the other side, like men want this, and it's actually separating them
100%.
apart from each other. My wife and I are just, stuff will pop up on your feed, right? And it's like, if your wife does this, this means this. And for her, she's getting, if your husband does this, and it's all happening privately, and it might be some little bit of truth in there
But
that
it's mostly a lie.
Yeah, but you won't see it like that might connect, and you go, oh, that's what she's doing.
But
and
also-
before you know it, you start fighting
You
against
start
each other.
Exactly. And the other piece of it is just know that most of the lives you see people leading on social media are bullshit. It's not real.
The women I see, they're always taking pictures of, I'm in a better place than you, look.
And it's
I'm
not
posting,
real.
It's bull.
It's not real.
And
that's
it's creating envy, but I also believe, this is my own conspiracy theory, I also believe that the algorithm is trying to make
100%.
everyone asexual, where they are it's just me and the phone.
It's just
me.
because
I don't
they
need
want your
any
relationship to be with the phone.
and not with human beings. So it's like, hey, like it's just me.
You know what else is happening in clubs? There's one this girl, she was like, she fixes clubs. She goes around and designs clubs, and she goes, I noticed going around overseas, whatever, they go, nobody's dancing anymore. It's like everybody's on their we're trying to structurally change it where people are forced to get the certain
interact.
tables out the way.
Yeah.
Not a lot of tables, because it's like now they got guys doing this where they have TikTok, find out who that girl is.
That's right.
Instead of just
Yeah,
going up
instead
there
of just going up
how
and
you
saying,
doing?
hey.
But
And-
then, what's it? Von Sant was saying it to these girls, saying, I want to tell you all something. She's talking to all these pretty black women. She goes, the reason why guys ain't coming to you is because you're mean. You talk like you're dudes. You say bruh to guys. Bro. You're talking crazy to men. And you want them to show you respect? Respect is she was going off on them. I go, it's true. So I don't have the motivation. Like I used to look forward to summers, like talk to women, because I grew up in Chicago. My father used to say, you go to the woman, and you touch the man, you go and say something to her.
Right.
You don't like her, go to the next one. That's my,
Yeah.
But I don't even have motivation to go up to a pack of wolves. I'm not in the mood for that.
But the
I'm like,
reality too, on the other side, when you talk to young women, what they're saying is they feel like the men just objective. They see these girls that are not real even. Some of them are not even real.
Right, no doubt,
and
no
so
doubt.
they expect you to look perfect, wake up in the morning with perfect hair, have a fully made up face. They don't realize that everything is
No flaws.
No flaws.
Yeah,
and so I
bogus.
think the unrealistic expectations go both ways. And so each
No
of
doubt,
these
no
groups
doubt, no
are
doubt.
becoming separate,
No doubt.
itemized groups of people who dislike each other, who don't like each other.
It's all, and I truly believe this, and I'll die on this one. It is truly to keep us glued to our phones,
Yes.
separate, because what they're fighting, the biggest fight right now is attention, and social
it.
media and all of these companies are like literally like jealous, like spouses, right?
Yep.
Like, no,
Yeah.
you can't be with the other person. Stay
Yep.
with me.
Yeah.
Stay with them.
Me.
They're bad. They're this,
That's it.
and it's just
But
creating
look
this
at the
division.
music. Like when I was, I get into my like soul Sundays. I'll listen to like, the OJs and blah, blah, blah. And I go, all these songs, all the way up to 90, all love. It was relationship. It was just
Yeah.
love this, love that, care about this, your woman, and da-da-da. And then you go from like 2010, it's just like, it's just like purposely lowering down the megahertz, especially for
100%.
black people. They definitely want us
It's over
destroyed.
perfection.
Yeah.
It's over perfection and
Disrespect.
and overcorrection.
Oh, and disrespect.
And disrespect,
And just
yeah.
no feeling. It's like, it's just this whole, it's just, man, you know, it's just when you, I'm telling you, I'm a single dude, so I just go, and then I'll get DMs from women. I go, what is going on? And then you'll get one that's taking a photo like this, and she looked like shit, but she took a fake photo. She's like covering her whole, you know, and then you see her, and her wig she got a chin strap on the wig. And she's like,
why not a chin strap on the wig?
And you know how some women can look raggedy, but they're confident. I don't want that. I said, I need you to look good.
No, wait a minute. Sometimes raggedy is cute.
No, raggedy. There's raggedy.
I prefer
Joy.
Delivered raggedy. There's cute raggedy.
You got the Joy raggedy is not the same as like this raggedy I'm looking at.
Oh, you talking about a different type of raggedy?
They just raggedy, and they're like this. They're like, they taking photos by the. I'm like, oh man.
But some of these men be raggedy too, though, because you be thinking they hands
but I don't like men. See, I like women. I'm heterosexual, and then sometimes you be like, something's wrong with her eye, man. She's like, and her eye is moving in a still picture. I'm like, so what is going on?
Why is it in a still picture?
I'm like, this is that AI. Something's wrong with your eye. AI. And I'm like this. It's always something off. I'm like, damn it. And me, I'll like, oh, the model chick. I go for the like.
You know what though?
And they're, you know, I don't get no answer.
But it's retouch. That's what I'm saying.
Of course, it's retouch.
But this goes back to the Nigerian saying. You know, they always say, "Why don't you go find you a Nigerian?"
I wouldn't mind, but they're on some level. There's some shit.
You got a problem with everybody.
No, I don't have a problem. I'm telling you.
Why don't you go find you a nice Egyptian woman?
I would love a nice. Listen, I look at African girls. Listen, there's some African girls I keep in touch with, but one is in Madagascar. There's another, but there's.
You ain't never talked to no girl from Madagascar.
Yes, I have.
You ain't never talked to no girl from Madagascar? I ain't never met nobody from Madagascar. You ain't never talked to no girl from Madagascar.
Madagascar, watch. Let me show you.
You ain't never talked to no girl from Madagascar.
Okay.
What she look like? I'm married. I love my wife.
This is Brazil. This is Brazil.
Oh, no, we're not talking about Brazil. No. He gonna show me Brazil. I'm asking about. What does a Madagascarian woman look like?
Madagascar.
I want to see.
She's from Madagascar.
Has a phone.
She speaks French.
Hold on, to blow up on the face.
I don't know. Can you blow that up?
Yeah, can blow it up. Zoom in.
That's Madagascar.
Let's see. Oh, she's pretty. I don't have my glasses on.
She's Madagascar.
She's Madagascar.
They speak.
What do they speak?
Magalay. They speak Magalay and French. It's tripped out, and it's a mixture of.
Oh no, this is
Asian. It's like
right. It's kind of like how Egypt is like multiracial.
Yeah, she's Madagascar. Yeah, Madagascar.
Give her a call.
There's Egypt in South Africa. There's Ethiopia.
But I have to ask you because do you get a lot of pressure from your parents to marry and have kids?
Well, I'm not. My parents are gone now.
Oh, they're gone
also.
Well.
But no, it was like, what are you going to me? You know, my brother's had his girlfriend for a long time. My sister was married at one time, but it has to be now. I date. I've had girlfriends before, but it's just now I've just been like, and you know, my freedom is so important to me.
Yeah,
I can't.
I think for men, you can tell me if I'm wrong.
I go all over the place.
I think the older you are. The older you are, and when you're single, then you get more and more used to
You're setting your ways.
It's kind of setting your ways. It's kind of harder. It's kind of harder to go back the other way.
You like your own space. I mean, like the way that, you know, for Jason and I, one of the things that really works is we're fine having our own space.
Yeah, no doubt.
I feel like, you know, we have wings. You know, he has his finished basement.
No doubt.
I'm sometimes on the first floor, and we're not like on top of each other all the time. I think that's the other piece that people have to realize. You still got to be an individual in a relationship.
You have to have individuality.
Yeah. And which is not bad, which is not because some people might see that as bad, but it allows you to be able to connect and reconnect.
That's right.
Right, and be able to still like, okay, hey, I like to do this.
And then I also look at, do I want this in my face every day?
All the time.
I'm like, Doc, remember?
I like having my wife in my face.
No, but I'm saying before, when you met her, you go, I want this in my face every day. You remember Dr. Xavier from X-Men?
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Xavier now because I look at the future. I go,
you put the
oh hell no, I'm good.
Was it,
how much was that? You got a quarter pound of a cheese? Yeah, I'm out of here because I picture it's going to be horrible.
Right.
I don't care how pretty they are. I go. I mean, it's because is she going to be annoyed? Is she come back?
Is there? You haven't given a good possibility yet. Like, is there?
I'm tired of smashing.
No, hold on. Is there a good scenario?
Just smashing left and right. just hitting.
I think he liked being single.
I think so too.
I think he
Because he hasn't given a good scenario.
No.
Don't
He
take
liked
it to
being
joke.
single.
Give me a good scenario that says, like, you know what, I could see myself with this woman without saying anything negative. Just give me the best scenario where you could see you being with a woman for a long period of time.
Oh boy.
See, he liked being.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but there's nothing wrong with actually liking to be single.
And just admit it.
Yeah,
And admit it.
I do. I like it, and I'm like, oh, I like it. I don't know what if. And then if someone broke that, I'd go.
Right.
That's when it's natural. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm good, man.
So somebody has to break.
Because I love being. I love my
You
solitude.
can
I love going.
stop, drop, and roll. You want to get up and go to Chicago
Go
tomorrow?
be out and
You don't
roll.
say nothing to nobody. You just
Right.
go.
But if somebody goes, you know what? I don't mind sharing. That has to be a natural thing where I go, man, I'm still thinking about this person. I haven't done that in a long ass time.
Wow.
I just haven't. And the offers I get is usually like, oh man. I'd be like,
It's the eye. I think the problem is.
Governor, I've seen all your shows. I'm like, I'm like, oh,
Hey, I got a good.
I get defective ass.
I got a good eye doctor in LA, Dr.
I think that's what
Gary
we
K-Wish.
need.
I'm gonna go.
That's the key.
All your girls with the eyes.
Send them all to the
go
doctor.
see Dr. K-Wish.
Get the doctor.
They're either weird or socially off. It's just like, you know, the ones I don't know. It's just, hey man, I'm just existing. I don't go, I can't, but no, I just exist. I let things happen.
As long as you're happy with your situation,
doubt.
that's the best circumstance in which to find somebody because you're not looking. You know, like when you lose something and you really can't find it,
you stop
and you will never find it until you stop looking.
Until you stop looking, you're like,
You have to give up and stop looking.
Yeah.
If you keep on looking for it, it's gonna drive you crazy.
Although I
So
did lose
don't
my
do it.
house keys like 6 months ago, and I still ain't found them.
Oh damn.
Yeah. I stopped looking.
You didn't stop. Good.
You better start actually looking for.
Actually, maybe start looking again. Yes, maybe start
You better
looking
search.
again.
All right, before we get out of here, we were talking earlier. Huh?
Christy
No
Nolan
got fired? Yeah! Right on 154, Christy Nolan. Bye,
Breaking
bye,
news.
bye, bye.
about to lose your job. You about to lose your
Bye. Think you all that
Hey.
now. You in the street now,
Hey.
ho. We about to get you now. Kick you in your back. Yeah. What now? You go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We got to show him. Christy Nolan is gone. Yeah. No,
I mean, she got fired.
she got fired right on the right as we're doing this.
I love it so much.
What?
Can we give us the news?
Yeah.
She's the first casualty of Trump's nominee, but I didn't get into it, but the headlines all over the place. Trump buys.
Yo!
Wow.
Oh, you know, what is your show?
Wait, did Corey Lewandowski also get fired?
I don't know, but that's the reason why.
But they were drilling hard.
Can I just tell you,
Go
there
ahead.
was one part of the hearing yesterday
Yeah.
where Jamie Raskin was questioning Kristi Noem about what definitely felt like she was using resources to give to people claim it's her boyfriend, Corey Lewandowski, with her
Husband in the back.
In the
he was
back.
like this. He was like,
He was, and his face
Hey,
was
say that part again, Jose.
So Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski, there's been rumors that they've been having an affair. They're both married to other people. And so at one point, Jamie Raskin is hammering her on giving basically special treatment and
the blanket. It was the blanket thing.
Oh no, right. It was the blanket
blanket
that they
on the
forgot to
plane.
put her blanket on the plane
Yep.
and she lost it and had a hissy fit because they forgot her special blanket
Yep.
on that luxury plane that has a bedroom in it.
Yeah.
They have a luxury plane that belongs
Yeah.
to the Department of Homeland Security with a luxury bedroom in it. And he's like, and people kept asking her, why do you need a bedroom in the plane?
Yeah.
And you and Corey lose that plane? What do you use that plane
Yeah.
for? And apparently they forgot to bring her blanket. She lost her mind and Corey chivalrously went and got the blanket and made sure that it was on the
And her
flight.
husband was like in the
He was
back.
sitting in the back like,
Husband's like, and she goes, why are you asking these? He goes, a yes or no would be fine. Just a yes or no. Why can't you answer just say no? She was like, why are you asking me? And the
And
husband's
then-
back there like,
listen, and Representative Kamala Dove from California straight up asked her, are you having sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Bam.
And she said, how dare you answer? She said, yeah, are you having sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
that was it.
She never answered. Remember, she's under oath. You can't lie under oath. It's a crime. She never said, no, I am not having sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski. She kept saying, I'm offended.
They
How
did a
dare
good job.
you?
They did a good job.
Listen, and the
Cory
big Nagoos.
Booker was smacking
Cory
her
Booker, but no,
around.
the big Nagoos to me took her down. So the big Nagoos, Congressman Nagoos from Colorado,
Nagoos.
the big
He killed her.
Nagoos,
He
right?
killed her.
He said, how is it that a company that was formed 8 days before it got a $140 million contract, we were like, has this company ever done business with the federal government? She was like, I don't know. He said, well, I have the answer. No, because they didn't exist until 8 days before they got $140 million. And how are they connected to you? Oh, right. It's owned by one of your former aides when you were South Dakota governor. So they're connected to you. They just created a company out of the blue and get a $140 million contract with Department of Homeland Security. She's like, I had nothing to do with creating.
That ran on my phone yesterday about 20, because you know how one video keep running? So I'm packing my bag, and it was running. The goose was, it ran over and over. So that's how I know the information. He was killing her.
And then Kennedy, and then it got worse because Senator Kennedy, when the Senate had their turn, he is a racist most of the time, junkyard dog. But in this case, even he had to ask her, so this $140 million company, it's the company making all those ads starring Kristi Noem in cowboy hats, riding around on a horse with Corey Lewandowski and being like, I'm the Department of Homeland Security. Ads promoting her. 140 million.
140.
Yes. Ads to promote Kristi Noem.
Yo, she's done, huh?
She's cooked. Wow. And by the way, Trump needed a distraction from the fact that we're at war with Iran and that the Epstein files have not been fully released and that he's in the Epstein files.
And all of this
apparently.
in the middle. All of this in the middle of the revelation of the Epstein files. As more and more stuff.
Yeah. What about the Clintons?
The war is
the
just taking
Clintons
over.
is
cooked them.
Crazy.
The Clintons went in and cooked. I mean, the Clintons. Never mess with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, she's like, I wasn't there, so.
What you got?
And
Bring
then
it.
Clinton's like this. I don't remember that. I don't see that right
In
there.
the hot tub.
I was in the hot tub, and after we had a long day, and I was just there floating around. And let me see this right here. Wow, look at that. That's crazy right there. That was a good time. That was a good.
Huh?
Yo, Clinton had me rolling.
Hold on.
He never fires anybody. He's just moving her to a different department.
Aww.
A new security initiative. The thing is called the Shield of Americas. A new initiative.
What?
She's gonna be in charge.
Neither she fired, but they just don't want to admit
They
it.
don't want to let her
They want
out.
to,
Bitch, you gone.
So they
fired.
moved her.
They don't want to let her out.
They moved her.
Bye.
Man, she fired. They
Yeah,
just didn't
so
want
it's
to. But
so
she knows too much, right? They can't let her completely go.
Yeah, slowly but surely it's coming. It's like the cracks are coming.
The wheels are coming.
That
off the
headset,
wagon.
he thinks he's running Cobra Kai. He says he goes, they looked around and found out.
Yeah.
Forget you, LaRusso. See you at the tournament. He's like an 80s bully. Remember in those 80s movies with the guy
Totally 80s bully.
with they have the like the polo up going, yo, you mess with my girl again, you're gonna be wearing your nose on the back of your head. You're cruising for a bruising, man. I'll see you on Thunder Road. Cold breeze lightning, we're burning on the corner of a mile.
Oh my God.
He went straight back to the 80s.
Literally.
He's like this Falcons.
That's him.
Let's be out of here. He's so corny.
He's so corny.
He goes like this. We're the defense. I'm going to tell you
Probably
right
the
now.
war. Lethal effect, not politically correct. That's like what?
Go for the legs, man. Go for the legs. Go for the legs.
Watch out, man.
Sorry.
He's messed up his suit. That suit was expensive.
You about to bust out of it. Shut up.
Got my name in it.
Where is it?
What, your name is in the suit?
Look, he can barely read it because it's tight. He's like, he's like this. He was like this. You was like this. You was like,
I'm too.
man, wait, hold up. Oh, there it is.
I'm too. Why you making fun of my weight?
You're like this. Burlington Coat Factory. Men's Warehouse.
All right, you gotta set it straight.
Excuse me, this makeup was expensive. Please do not make me cry it off. Thank you. Paid real money.
All right, you got to set it straight. You got to set it straight with Guyana, because earlier I said, I thought it was a South American country, but you said no, It's a
Quite
Caribbean.
offended. It is a Caribbean country.
It's a Caribbean. Can you explain that?
Yes, Guyana, because it was colonized by the British. They brought enslaved people over mainly from Ghana, which is where my great-great-great-grandmother came from. She was enslaved at 7 years old with her mom. They went to Queenstown, Guyana. That's where they wound up. Actually, in Essequibo is where they ended up. And it was a British colony, and they enslaved people.
Isn't it French Guyana?
There's the French Guyana and a British Guyana. So the French Guyana is called Suriname.
Suriname.
And,
Yeah.
they're next to each other.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're right next to, and they're both on the coast of South America,
Okay,
but
yes.
they jut out into the Caribbean Sea. And because the British also colonized the islands that became Trinidad, Trinidad and Guyana have exactly the same culture. They have the same accent. They eat the same food. They both eat very Indian dishes because they had Indian
Roti.
slaves there too.
Yes.
So they had enslaved Indian people and enslaved black people from
coolies.
Africa, the coolies, and they worked together. Oh, they don't really get along always, but they intermarried, and so they're very Indian. They're very sort of Indian and black mixed culture, and the cultures are exactly the same. So
So even though it's on the South America landmass,
it's physically on the landmass, but the culture is
the
Caribbean.
culture is Caribbean.
Yes, the culture is no different from Trinidad.
That rape and pillaging is no joke.
It's no joke. I mean, they created these the largest number of black enslaved people is Brazil,
That's right.
right? And so there were far more Brazilian enslaved people than in the United States of America. But they were in Canada. They were all throughout the Caribbean. They created so Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, like all these countries that were British colonies, the British Virgin Islands, these are all the colonies they created. And the cultures are very similar. They have a lot of redundancy, but the places where when black people got free, they replaced them with Indians.
Right.
Trinidad and Guyana are two of those places. And now the Indians and blacks don't really get along. They sort of
Which
fight
is
for dominance.
insanely stupid because we all eat plantain.
We all eat plants.
Well,
Everybody's connected by the big banana. The big banana connects us all. Everyone eating plantain. You are African, whether you like it or not.
your makeup's gonna get messed up.
It's plantain.
so mad about
it's
it.
maduros. It's plantain. Plátano.
maduros.
It's
Why
tostones.
you messing up her makeup, man?
And
you know,
it's-
but,
and
you
Suriname-
know where else? You know where else we're seeing that though? That same type of division where you're talking about the Indians and with the
blacks and
the black and Indians. We're seeing the same thing here in the United States though with black Africans, black immigrants. We're seeing a lot of that, and a lot of that has to. We were talking about that.
Colonialism.
There's not a lot of information. And I don't say information, teachings of colonialism and how colonialism destroyed Africa. And likewise in Africa, there's not like a lot of going on about the civil rights, right? Because you're all the way in Africa. So when the two come together, it's like, this thing that's happened,
And I think the difference is that there are three sort of sets of black people that are in the diaspora. They're the Africans who were enslaved in their own home.
Yes.
If you were Kikuyu or you were, a Xhosa person in South Africa, they enslaved your ass right there. And when they were done enslaving you, you got rid of them for the most part. They either left or they left behind their colonial system, but they colonized you in your own place where you live. Then you have the people who were stolen, and you either went to a country like a Brazil or to the Caribbean, and so you experienced just horrific, degrading slavery, but that was about enslaving people and then using their bodies up and then letting them die and then going and getting more. And so you had a more holistically black culture because you really maintained your Africanness in a lot of ways. And then when you died, they just went and got a different person. You weren't like being bred like cattle. Chattel slavery really only took place in the United States and Canada, but mainly, right? And so this is a different mentality. These people were told that slavery was endemic to being black. The African Americans were sort of taught or told that just being black or having any African ancestry meant that you were endemically a slave forever. That was not the case as much in the Caribbean or in Africa. They knew they had a 1,000-year-old culture in these African countries to fall back on to say, we're not endemically enslaved people. We don't come from slavery. Whereas in America, they tried to cut them off from their Africanness and say that Africanness doesn't matter. You're just a slave. Your whole history is a slave. You never learn anything about what your ancestral origins were or what kingdoms you came from. You never learned that. You just learned slavery, 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 slavery. And so black slavery in the U.S. was just unique. But the other thing I think that people who are from like where our families are from, what they don't recognize is that that kind of slavery caused African Americans to produce, I would say, the most dominant cultural force
the
that's
whole
ever lived.
world.
And that's
You're
why we
damn
see it
right.
spread. That's why we see it spread everywhere.
It's and it
Everywhere.
doesn't come. It comes from Africa endemically, right? The food,
doubt.
the rice,
That's
the,
right.
the dishes they eat, the oxtail, everything. There's an Africanness to it, but its origin story is America.
Yeah.
And so they create this thing that is, up until a certain, we didn't even say African American when I was growing up. People would say, they used to say Negro, then they said African American, and blacks kind of rejected that. The term that black Americans like is black.
They like black, yep.
And so because it rolls
Was it
over.
Jesse brought up African American, Jesse Jackson?
Yeah, it was this idea of saying we're African, but in America.
yeah.
But African, when I was growing up, being African was not cool. Us
it
little
wasn't.
four little
I know,
Africans.
Trust.
There was
we got
no
made fun of,
connection,
yeah,
right? So they were like, "Oh, you African booty scratcher." They used to say
Booty
something like that.
scratcher.
Remember the African booty scratcher? Because African Americans trace their ancestry to Mississippi, to Alabama, to America.
Yeah.
But what they did is they took, there are 2,500 different indigenous groups in Africa. It's the most biodiverse continent on the planet. There's no more biodiversity anywhere like Africa.
That's right.
And so people who were in those ships came from like some people. My people are Hausa. My father's people are Hausa. Some people are
Hausa.
Igbo.
Wow,
Some
Hausas.
people are yeah. So we're Hausa people, right? So that's how we identify. You know what I mean? You take a Hausa person, an Igbo person, a Yoruba, and you throw them all in a ship. And they may speak each other's language or they may not, but they come from different tribes. You throw them all together, stick them in a slave ship, strip them of their identity. In a generation, they're not Hausa, they're not Igbo, they're not Yoruba, they're just black.
Black, yeah.
And so this culture of blackness, of American blackness,
It's a real
is
culture.
Powerful.
Thank
It's a
you.
new tribe.
you
It's
think-
a
but you
unique
got
tribe.
some
And we
people-
need to respect
And there's
it.
some Africans that will say, you don't have a culture. Black Americans do. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Come
Because
on.
half of you copy it.
Copy it.
Everybody copies Black American
It is
Yes.
powerful
culture.
because you said it's
You're
powerful.
talking
There's
about-
something different and magnetic about
Yeah.
it. You know,
It's
Like-
magnetic. It's
Yeah.
a new tribe. They literally took out of many one. You want to talk about what's out of many one? It's all and look, they did the same with the white people because white people were all different. They were, French and they were German, they were Bavarian, they hated each other's guts. And they amalgamated them all into something called white. And then they amalgamated all of the blacks into something called black. They invented these things. These things didn't exist before the 16th
constructs,
century. And they're all false. They're not real. But they took away the thing that most humans organize themselves by, which is tribe.
Yeah.
And that is gone in America. You're just white or you're black. And black American culture is, again, it's the most dominant culture that's ever existed. It created rock and roll, soul music, country music, half the food we eat. Most of what we do in this country that makes us American is black people created it. Right. And so I think when our people come from other countries, they need to give that some respect. Yeah. They need to treat that with respect. But also, I wish American blacks could get the chance to learn what colonialism did to Africa. Because it's not like African people didn't suffer. And I think there's a sense that African people sold us away and forgot about us. But they forget those people were destroyed. As Michael Harriot said when we had him on for our Black History special, if black people were selling other black people, why did you need a fort? If this was a transaction that was mutual and the kings of Africa were just selling off black, well, then why did you need to build giant forts? You build giant forts because you were having wars with those kings who you were stealing their people. You wouldn't need a fort if you were selling and buying.
And that's something that people like. That's the information that gets passed out a lot. You hear, well, your people sold.
They love to throw that out there. Take the burden off them.
Yeah,
That's
because,
correct.
Yeah, because the history gets distorted that way, and it minimizes. And I've always been a person, and I know they trash me on online, but I want to know, like, what is the connection point? Because you said it. Once that happened, it cut the connection. I literally physically saw it when you said that, almost like a cord being like. Is there ever going to be a connection point between African immigrants and Black Americans?
It's already
happening now.
Yeah.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
If you go to Ghana right now, you will see African Americans on every street. They're getting their residency, they're getting their citizenship, they're moving back, they're reinvesting. Africans, we reconnected the umbilical cord ourselves. And that's why you're always talking about white people are mad. The 1619 Project was one of those moments where black people said, no. We're going to recreate our own history. We're going to tell our own story. And that story does not mean that we come from slavery. Right. We don't come from slavery. You all come from oppression. You guys come from robbery and theft. And you need to own that. Yeah. But we are starting to tell our own story and reconnect ourselves to Africa and really invest in Africa and realize there's a huge bounty of human capacity, of financial capacity, and that together, we're like the most powerful weapon on earth.
Yeah, and I feel that energy. I've done 9 countries. I want to go to more countries in Africa. I want to do all 54.
Same.
I want to be able to go to Madagascar and say I met somebody from Madagascar. But like what I noticed
And bring back a wife for your friends.
but what I love is like there is this similarity and this connection through all of the countries I've been to in Africa. Like there is this connection that I feel the same being here, growing up in America. And I'm like, I just want to see and minimize or eradicate the confusion that is the distrust or the pointing fingers at each other. Well, you guys are this way, or you look down and you think you're better. You're an African booty scratcher.
Well, how do you think they stole us?
Yeah.
I mean, their method was to say, hey, tribe number 1, sell me somebody from tribe number 2, or give me your prisoners of war from that tribe. They're not, remember, these people didn't think of themselves as all black. You're this tribe, I'm that tribe. If I have prisoners of war from the other tribe, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let them go to you. And then they got greedy and said, you know, it's not enough for me to give you your prisoners of war. I'm going to go back and just take people, right? But it did start out as, I'll take my prisoners of war. They didn't think it was going to be endemic slavery forever. Right. And then once they got greedy and were like, come and taking people, then there were the fights. But even in the Caribbean, there are a lot of African Americans who think of Caribbean blacks as like foreign. They're probably your cousins. If you're in New Orleans, you're probably Haitian. You know, I mean, if you're in Florida, you are probably from Barbados because you probably have first cousins in Barbados. You know, they would drop people off in the Caribbean and then sell them to South Carolina. Like the route was often Caribbean, then the U.S.
That's where they would break slaves usually.
They would break them in the Caribbean, 100%, and then bring them here. So it's like a lot of people, their first stop was not Virginia or South Carolina. It was Jamaica.
Yeah, it's crazy. Damn. Well, it's a number on us.
We could go on.
But we still here though.
And we still survive.
And I can feel it, Burgeon. I can feel it connecting. You got Gabon. You got Ludacris lives in Gabon. He has a place in Gabon.
Yep.
Citizen in Gabon. So it's coming around.
It's coming.
They're
That's why we have this. That's why we have 154.
That's why they're
That's it.
panicking and they're counting on our not being together like we've got, because we're all we got. Dr. Henry Clark says we have no friends in the world. Black people don't have friends. He meant that. Dr. Henry Clark, one of the elders who knows his stuff, we don't have them. Regardless of what you think in the whole scope of the world, our power. There's a girl online, this white chick, she has this machine where she asks questions to the machine. She goes, why is it that, black people are always like oppressed, blah, blah, blah. And the machine talks back to her and goes, because of black people's power, is their melanin, is they're native to the, that's the reason why whites try to shut, it's like a machine. This white girl asks these questions about oppression and it's really good stuff.
You guys send me that video.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's really interesting. And she goes, it's because it's not just, it's just black people, it's their power, it's their natural, it's dope. It's like amazing. And she just asked these questions.
It's like when you have a connection to indigeneity, it's actually a powerful thing. It's why when you go and talk to Native Americans, indigenous people, they have a power, they have a spiritual power because they have a connection to the soil and the spirit.
Yeah.
And that is an African thing. There's a connection to the earth and the soil and the spirit. And if you can reconnect yourself with that, Europeans worked very hard to disconnect themselves from that and to eradicate that from what they considered to be high society and being, what they saw as being civilized.
Yes.
But being civilized meant just cutting yourself off from indigeneity. And so, which is what you're seeing, like people who are from Europe that go to Israel try to reclaim, right, and steal back. But what black people have is sort of a natural indigeneity. Like we're just naturally indigenous people. The food we eat, the rhythm, the dancing, the music, the gospel.
It just comes out.
We just took it. Like we take, spiritual songs and music and turn it into gospel. I think that's a spiritual, physical experience. And that's an indigenous vibe. And so that vibration is common to everyone black, whether you're in East Africa, West Africa, Caribbean, Brazil. All we need is to try to get over some of the phony, false separation that Europeans actually used to steal us. And it was a tactic to steal us. And as long as we fight infighting, they can keep stealing us. And so that's how we have to learn.
I want the infighting to stop. Like
that has to stop.
The last thing you want is to turn around and it's the people who look like you and have the same roots as you. History different, but roots are different, and to get that, like, that's what I want. You know what I mean?
But
like
then
that
there's
connection.
the sellouts, like the defective Negroes that I talk about.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith, the Larry Elders, the Candace Owenses. all of those defective. And there's one brother, I'm gonna call him out soon. They were asking him, well, what did you think about the things about what they showed about the Obamas and the monkey shoes? And this black dude's like, I didn't see what the problem. I'm gonna get him though. This whole.
I know. I think I know.
There's like there were other pictures there that were just. They all have that look. It's just so.
You know how you can always call them out.
Asymmetrical Negroes. They just have this off look, and they don't look like they go to good barbers.
That's it. It's always the hairline.
It's the barber. It's the hairline. The barbers are no
I'm
good.
telling you.
Stephen A. Smith.
It's the hairline.
It's the barbers.
That's what give them away. I'm telling you.
I know they don't go to a barbershop with real because barbershops is where everybody's talking. They don't go. They go to like probably some white guy goes like.
They go to Supercuts.
They go to Supercuts.
Why would you think of the same?
They go to Supercuts.
They're going.
And what do they put on top of the bowl?
In the bowl, and there's this.
They get a protractor or something like a
or a Flowbee. They got a Flowbee going on.
What is that?
A weed whacker. It's like a weed thing, and it Flowbees your hair.
They don't go to the real barbers where we talk that real stuff,
Even if you have that, you still got to get it shaved properly. Make sure you don't get nicked.
There's always something off about those. They're just
something.
He was about to go into his Elon Musk voice, but
I was not.
I want to say thank you.
I just went there.
I got one more thing. Okay, so I brought you guys, and you guys are going to have to share this. I apologize. I didn't bring it up. So you guys have to fight it out. So first I brought a mug, which I'm going to send an additional one.
I'll win.
And I had to bring this because, and somebody can have the bag too. So I got 3 things. I had to bring y'all this. This is the one if you ever really want to piss off the right wingers.
Damn. Oh, wow. You have everything.
It has everything. Fuck Trump. ICE, free Palestine, free DC, unoccupied Chicago, free Portland, free Minnesota, Libertad Puerto Rico. We got free Congo. We got free Ukraine, free Sudan.
Man, you ran out of
room. We got everybody. We just like
Joy Reid show is about to be on and popping.
We're like pissing off everybody with this. And then of course,
what size is that?
This one is a large.
Oh, that's him. No, that's him. I'm 6'6", 280. I'm 6'6", 280. So
you're 6'6", 280. And then there's a
small guy. You can take the large.
Oh, you can get it at shop.joyannereid.com. Shop.joyannereid.com. That's the Joy Reid shop.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And please subscribe to the Joy Reid Show, thejoyreid.com. Thank you.
Awesome. So much fun.
Yes, that was so much fun.
154. We all connected, baby. You already know. I'm talking 154. We bringing Africa around the whole globe. Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like.